Yeah.
So I think he's got like the highest winning percentage in the playoffs or something all time.
Probably. The year last year he was hurt, and they got hurt the last time Cleveland lost. So can't lose if you don't play.
True.
Clean sweep.
Chris Massey.
15-year anniversary of Pat Tillman. So toast to excellence to Pat Tillman.
Good on you. I knew that, but I forgot about it.
My toast is to New York Yankees pitcher James Paxton.
For being the only uninjured player on the team.
Still healthy,
He'll be down.
but his last few starts, he's been pretty lights out.
But the bullpen, yes.
Bullpen yesterday, a little shaky, but we won.
I saw you guys know like the bad luck Brian memes.
Yeah.
I saw one that was like Yankees win on 420, celebrate by rolling joint, and then underneath said the ankle.
Yeah.
Baron of the Red.
Mine's to the rat, Chris Massey. We were knotted up in fantasy baseball all week until the last half hour of possible baseball, and he pulls away.
Hold on.
Rebecca shut me out.
Yeah, 19-0.
Can I make Kendall feel worse?
But to be fair, like Rodon didn't pitch at all this week because the 2 games he was supposed to play, they canceled them because of rain. So Abreu also didn't play. Like the one game that they had this week, it was his rest day, which I don't understand. He didn't play because of rain. So my 2 big guys like not there. But don't you worry.
Can I make Kendall feel worse?
I made a move.
Kendall lost to me when I forgot that we were even playing fantasy baseball.
Isn't that the worst? We were like 9-9 all week long.
I think we should
had no idea.
I think we should amend the rule. We have the majority of the people that are playing in it here present. We need a majority vote. So how many people we got here? We got 6. So we need 5 votes. We'll call it 5 votes. Okay. So it's whoever comes in last place has to do the gross shot.
So
right?
far, it's Kyle.
But whoever comes in last place has to do the gross shot, right?
Yeah.
I think we should also make it that if Rebecca wins, she has to do the same gross shot, full double shot. All right, so I need votes. Souls?
If she wins the league?
Yes, she still has to do it because it's Rebecca. Yay or nay for Red Baron?
I just want to make sure. So she comes in first.
Yeah.
So if this
she comes in
passes,
last,
the
nothing
object is to
happens.
no longer come in first.
I need time to think about it.
No. The loser still has to drink.
No, I know. So don't come in last and help Rebecca come in first. Is that what I'm
If that's how you want to play it, sure. I really hope that gets you to last trying that way. But yeah, you got it. So
Yeah, I'm in with that.
I need a yay or nay vote, Red Baron.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I didn't get to you yet. Souls?
Yay.
Machine?
Yay.
Mass?
Nay.
Well, you're
Are you
outnumbered.
serious?
No, but
It's a yay or nay. You have to give a serious answer what you want right now.
I
Keep in
think
mind, I said 5 out of 6. Rebecca's obviously going to say nay. So if you say nay, she doesn't have to do it.
can you not vote?
What? No.
He's voting yay.
There's 6 people
1,
down here.
2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah. All right.
I vote yay.
All right. Well, I vote yay.
Peer pressure. All right, everyone pull out of the league. Drop all your players.
Then if we all lose.
Everyone cut your players. Kyle's cool doing the gross shot. He does them anyway.
Yeah, anyways, I'm thinking about it. Matthew, check your phone.
Did you do? Oh, yeah, you did yours. The rat. All right, crap.
Like, not the phone, but check your fantasy app.
I'll get to it.
No, gotta check it now.
Shout out to LB and Peter, both watching us on Facebook.
Peter was
forgot
asleep
about
5
it
minutes
already.
ago when I came in. So, Peter, good for you. Unless it's Ricky watching.
Hey, woke up for GSWD.
It's all right. Excuse me.
All right.
I don't know what that was all about.
So, we're doing shot trivia. This is going to lead perfectly into Mass's momentous moments.
Matt's better check the damn fantasy team.
All right,
God,
Kyle.
shut the front door.
I know him, and he won't do it.
Hold on.
No,
We're going to do this real quick.
I don't want to do this. Not live. Not while we're live. Do it on the break.
Oh, hey, it'd be Kendall's team.
What do you got for us, Riddler?
Okay. On this date in 2016, the White Sox pulled off a bizarre triple play. How many defensive players touched the ball in route of the 3 outs?
7.
6. Damn, Kyle took my answer.
Sometime back, I think the Riddler and I were actually talking about this. Not recently, but
It's
in the
funny.
past.
because when that's happened, Paul tagged us all on Facebook for the video, and it popped up on like my memories today.
Man. So what was said? He's probably going to go higher than
How
what
many?
you-
6 and 7.
6, 7.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go 8 for the sake of argument.
What's the highest number I can say?
9.
Well, there's only 9 guys on the field.
9.
Come out of the bullpen.
I want to change my answer,
You
but
can't.
I know
You lose.
Okay.
it's 1.
It's 5.
Oh, damn.
1.
Phillies had it with 1.
You turned a triple play with one person.
Unassisted triple, you can.
Yeah.
First the
How?
Mets.
Line drive, because they were playing a shift. Line drive to the second baseman, touch second, threw it to first.
But that's not one person. That's 2 people, second and first.
No, he didn't flip it.
It
He
doesn't
caught
matter.
it, tagged it.
He caught it,
but-
tagged
but
second.
to
I
throw
get
to
it. I
first.
get it, but you know what I meant.
It's wrong. It's 5. 6 times the ball was transferred, but 5 people touched it. It was a 9-3-2-6-2-5 triple play.
Wow.
Because what happened was it was a catch, a miraculous catch in the outfield, who then threw the ball back to first before the guy could get. The guy running back to first, overstepped the first base bag, so Abreu tagged him before he could get back. Then he threw it home, and then they got the guy on third base in a pickle.
I always wondered how they like score the pickle. Like, do you have to log every throw? Because sometimes they go a little while.
So like what if you were stuck in like a 2-5 pickle for like 20 minutes? It's like 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5,
Yeah,
2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-5,
Like,
2-1,
how do you
2-5,
score it? Oh, that sounds terrible. Imagine being the fan in the stands that keeps the book.
All right, so that leads perfectly into. Oh, so you lost. You have to do the private stock.
So how do I do this?
Shout out to Jeff Krzyzewski tuning in. Thanks, Jeff.
So
Appreciate
Hey, Jeff.
Red Baron, what's going on with this? What's going on with this fuel pump over here?
So I just thought we'd add like a new addition for the private stock. Just kind of a gimmicky thing here.
Kendall also got tired of putting his mouth on the bottle.
So
Well, you
we're
know-
using shot glasses now.
I'm gonna right now. I just have a few disposable shot glasses. I'm gonna buy
Pour one
like
for
a
everybody.
300 pack. That way,
Why don't
we
you
have
just
it
keep?
for a
Why don't we
while.
just keep using the same shot glass?
Well, we can. I just
Like, why doesn't everybody just use the same shot glass?
This takes a while.
You have to pump it.
You just kind of pull a little trigger.
What am I
thing here.
drinking?
It's GSWD private stock,
Yeah.
sir.
And shout out to Stash tuning in as well. Yeah, it's not convenient to use that thing, but it's cool, I guess.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Poor Kyle one.
I made that private stock today, fresh from
Oh,
the
you
regular
want one?
collection.
So this leads perfectly into Masses Momentous Moments. We've
Did
been
we-
calling it Masses Monumentous Moments, but when I was typing this out on the outline, monumentous isn't a word. So I changed it to Masses Momentous Moments.
Momentous is a word.
Momentous is a word.
Um.
It means what we were using monumentous to mean.
Okay. April 23rd, 1954. Hammer and Hank Aaron hits his first home run, which
First of like 10,000.
He had what,
755.
714?
755,
Or who had
Wow.
seven? Who was 7 foot? Was that Babe Ruth?
maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
He finished with 755.
Yeah, because
Wow.
didn't Bonds finish like 770 something?
I don't know,
He
he
broke
cheated.
it, right?
792 Bonds finished with,
Finished
Wait,
with 792.
You
I would have came back
or,
for another one.
I would have came back
762.
just to hit 800.
Just to hit 8 more. I mean,
Well,
really Bernie Mac it.
I was
762.
just about to
I
say
think
it,
it
you
is.
bastard. What number were you saying? 715?
Yeah.
Ryan Howard.
Oof. No way.
No. Billy Hamilton, though.
That was 714, by the way.
Bartolo Colon. All right. So anyway, back to the Masses Momentous Moments.
This one actually leads into the event on Thursday night. Probably one of the most infamous things in the NFL draft history. On this day in 1983, or I'm sorry, on the 26th, 1983, the Baltimore Colts selected John Elway with the first overall pick.
He declined.
Just
For a couple days, yes.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Eli do the same thing initially?
Yes.
Didn't he do like a huge press conference or like a huge interview? Like,
He's
fuck
like
the Chargers, pretty
Well,
much.
that one
Well, it
played
was
San Diego.
before then, yeah, that he was like, what are you going to do if you get drafted by the Chargers? And they were just like, yeah, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, the difference is Elway started out by saying, yeah, I just don't really want to play for a cold weather team. It's nothing to do with the organization. Eli was like, fuck the Chargers.
Well,
Wait.
it was more Archie.
John
than
Elway said that,
John Elway originally came out and said,
and then went to the Broncos.
well, he didn't want to play for the Colts. He had no interest,
But
but
he said the cold weather thing.
because they were originally making like a gentleman's agreement. We won't blame you, but you're going to trade the pick so we don't have to do this whole song and dance.
Song and dance. Do Aerosmith?
Yes.
You know, I don't have to ask who shared this office versus the warehouse picture on our page. Also, the link, the video is not on the Facebook page.
It's through Peter's thing.
Oh, we're doing this still?
Yeah.
What happened to the friend finder cam?
What?
I don't know.
We're looking to make our own account, so
We're gonna have to soon. But until then, there you go. Kyle,
Shout
playing
out
the
J Will.
sound. There you go.
Shout out J Will.
Kyle, turn your volume down.
Is it on?
I think the people, hey, you take a photo. Oh, it's a video. Oh wait, my bad. Sorry.
Shut up.
Hey, watch your mouth, guy.
Okay.
No.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Guys good?
Yeah,
We're good. Sorry.
Proceed.
Mass, you good?
Churlish.
Maxine, you good?
Good to go.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Nah, 45-day hiatus.
All right.
45 days.
45 days, then we're coming back live every day from 3 to 1 a.m. All we're gonna
Such a long show.
We wouldn't be back until June.
and all we're gonna do from 3 to 1 is talk about baseball.
That would be a Thursday.
All we're gonna do for that whole time is predict tomorrow's baseball games. And then we're never gonna actually reflect on our predictions the next day. And we're gonna do it every day for 45 more straight days.
Oh,
There's only one guy that'll make that really happy.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle said that he'd rather have season tickets to the Mets than the Phillies.
That's not what I said.
Wow.
Yeah, I asked him.
He said Mets.
I said Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox.
said
He goes,
yeah,
I'd probably do the Mets so I could see the Phillies, but not have to drive too far.
That's not what I said.
Wow.
He said Mets, Red Sox, or Yankees.
You know, the
And
way you
fuck
say
yeah.
it, Riddler, I can actually hear Kyle say it. You know, that's
Kyle
how
also said he likes skinny women.
Shout out J Will.
it takes a shot.
So, little thing here, little playing thing. Now, people are more than welcome if you have discussion topics as we go on. I'll get the ball rolling with a few.
Okay.
Just come up with something that you want to add in. You can feel free to add it in. But the way this is going to do it, we're going to do something like a one-on-one time discussion kind of thing. So I'm going to pick two people to discuss. Two people I think that would have good insight for the topic. Sorry about it's going to be a little tricky because basketball knowledge is kind of at a minimum.
yes.
Didn't even bother putting hockey in this. But yeah, it's just just converse. It's kind of like a
Open forum.
like a PTI, if you will.
Gotcha.
I got
Like
you.
a Tony
So
Corso.
it could be an agreement, could be a disagreement.
Tony Kornheiser.
That's what I said.
You said
Should be
Kornhouse.
another one. I kind of like that.
Cornhouse.
But every time you guys agree, Kyle, you're gonna be upstairs by the second hour again.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, bull crap.
Guaranteed. I didn't do any shots before the show today.
Hey, Nick Bartek tuning in.
Kyler Murray will
Reel
not
him
go.
in. Reel him in.
Kyler Murray will not go number one overall.
I'm leading these off. You don't get to do this yet. You get to chime in later.
That later.
Shut up, Mass.
What do you got for us, Riddler?
All right. So the first topic is going to be between the Red Baron and everyone's favorite household appliance.
Sit back and relax.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready? All right. I'll give you guys 2 minutes on this one. Try to stretch it out. Get some discussion going. All right. So, as previously mentioned, Tim Anderson had a cool bat flip the other day against the blanking Royals.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
it was
Brad
Royals.
Keller.
Okay. He hit a solo shot, went pretty deep, and then his next at bat got drilled in the ass. And then the bench was cleared. The two managers got into it. Tim Anderson got ejected, and then suspended for a game for using language. Blah 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 blah. This, that, and the other thing. Should the MLB ever consider just doing away with bat flips? Because and it seems to be that every time there's a good bat flip like this and a big momentous moment, it always results in a fight or somebody getting beamed with a pitch, and it just seems every league is always preaching safety, I don't think getting beamed with a fastball. So should the MLB do away with bat flips being allowed? Take it away.
Absolutely not. The why is it okay when a pitcher gets a big strikeout to celebrate on the mound as he walks back to the dugout?
There's a college player that does a backflip after every strikeout.
But that's what I mean. It baseball is the king of unwritten rules, and that's exactly what this is. Pitchers don't like when hitters celebrate big hits, so the next time they're up, they hit them. It's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, we see it in the NFL. They're welcoming celebrations now. Welcome bat flips. Fans love them. I think they should be more welcomed and police the pitchers.
I'm going to say do away with it. All it's doing is causing problems. There's certain things you just can't fix. A big argument in baseball now is, the game's taking too long. Well, the game's going to take long if you have to clear the benches and people are going to fight, and then they have to clear that. It's just going to make the game that much longer. You hit a home run, act like you've been there before. How many different things can you do with the bat flip? End of the day, the bat's going in the air and it's going to hit the ground. It's just, wasting time. People aren't going to like it. It's evident. We see it almost every week now that there's some fight, whatever it is, do away with it. Act like you've been there before. No bat flip.
I like them. I think they're entertaining. I mean, you see a guy when they get that big home run. I mean, I don't remember the situation with Tim Anderson's, but
they lost.
When they hit these big home runs, they expect batters to not celebrate, which it's the most ridiculous thing to me. And it's just an unwritten rule in baseball. It's the same. Again, pitchers can celebrate. I mean, if you're telling a batter he can't, then nobody can. It's the same thing when there's a big play in the field made, players are able to celebrate. But if you're hitting and you get a big hit and celebrate it, it's a problem. Let the guys have fun. For how long did we, yell at the NFL for flagging penalties or flagging celebrations on touchdowns, and now they're in?
Do you have anything you'd like to add at the end there?
Just one quick thing. Mark, do you ever pitch in Little League and juniors?
Yeah.
How did it feel giving up a home run?
Oh, it sucks.
How would you like if a guy, took out his business and flashed it in your face as you ran the...
Whatever. I mean, if you're the pitcher that gave it up, you gave it up. I mean, deal with it.
I appreciate your sportsmanship.
Yeah. I'm
Kendall
friends with Kyle because of this.
Kendall will be flashing you this summer, just so you're aware.
Shout out Jessica Staldy.
What?
Jessica Staldy.
Oh.
Kyle doesn't really shout people out, so it's always like a mystery when he does it.
Well, that was also just like a really random name. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
I didn't see his name pop in. What's up, Jesse?
All right, so this one's going to be for the Red Baron again.
Oh, back to back.
And everyone's favorite Mexican, Gilberto Sols.
Don't gotta say it like that.
So,
Hey, Nick.
we're wrapping up the first round of the NBA playoffs right now, and we'll get more into that type of stuff. But we're seeing a rivalry come to kind of full head here. And it's not a team rivalry, it's a player v. player rivalry. We're talking Dame Lillard and Russell Westbrook. So do you think this series, this 1-versus-1 rivalry, is this good for the franchises? Is this good for the teams moving forward? These guys are always going to play each other. They're in the same division, which means they match up at least 4 times a year. And what was like, when was and just kind of chime into, what was like the last like player versus player like rivalry, like real heated player versus player only rivalry, no team thing going at it? And give me your thoughts. Do you think this is a good rivalry, and who do you think's better?
I'm going to jump in first, if that's okay, Kyle. I think I had a lot of hope that the Durant Westbrook thing was going to kind of be a bigger thing for the future. Because a great storyline, the two separating, and then say what you want about Durant. You're like, oh, he sold out, went to Golden State, whatever. He wanted to win, and he did it. And Westbrook felt a certain type of way about it. Thought why couldn't we do it together? And I thought that was kind of good, especially them being in the same conference and meeting so often. I thought that was good for basketball. But it seemed kind of like it fizzled out after a season. So I think. If this rivalry is going to kind of grow, between Lillard and Westbrook, I think that'd be great for basketball because people love to take sides, and if not that basketball's hurting for viewership, but I'll tune in. I'll tune in to see two guys drawn, during a game, especially them being in the same conference as well. They're meeting up a lot, so I think it's good for basketball.
So I think that the rivalry is great for basketball. One, because Portland is a small market team that has a very, very talented player. Oklahoma City, it's not the biggest market team, but they get talent in because they had KD
What up, Ty?
and they have Westbrook and Paul George. These are the two most even point guards to go up against each other, night in, night out. They both play with a lot of heart, intensity. None of them take a day off. I think putting those two going up against each other is just exactly what basketball needs now. There's no, like Paul said, there's no rivalry that much anymore. But you put two of the league's best going at it, not liking each other. Now Portland OKC is a game to put on TV every time they play each other, and it's always going to be entertaining. And then I personally think Damian Lillard's better. He shoots the ball better, and he doesn't have the greatest talent, but they always end up being the 4 or 5 seed. They lost Nurkic, but they didn't lose a lot because they had Lillard. And I think Lillard's more important, in my opinion. I think Lillard's more important to the Blazers than Westbrook is to the Thunder.
I think moving forward, I'll go second so I can disagree with people. Kyle and I just had a nice pat on the back fest.
Well, there's nothing you can say.
Can you think of a recent 1v1 rivalry like this is becoming?
You could say LeBron and stuff, but you can't.
No, that's not what this is. We're talking like two. Those are just two players. They're like, I have. They're talking about like two players have respect for each other. Like these are two players. They're jawing at each other. They're stealing each other's celebrations. They're getting in each other's faces, taking basketballs away from each other. Like this goes back. This is like Bird and Magic Johnson like type 1v1 rivalry. But have we seen anything like that?
Not since I've been watching. Not a player rivalry. I've seen team rivalries.
A lot of stuff. Big ego type things, like the Draymond Green versus the world. I've seen a lot of that. The same goes for Boogie. Seems always getting into.
Well, the thing is like these are the two guys that is loved by the entire world. Like a lot of people hate Westbrook for how he plays, but they love him too. You know what I'm saying? Lillard, you never hear anybody hate on him. He's just one of those guys that really never runs his mouth. He just plays the game. That's what you want to see.
Hey, Dan.
From State Farm?
Nah.
Nah. All right. Machine washable.
Yeah.
Mass Chris Massey.
Oh boy.
Are we talking Rams?
No. The opposite. So
I don't know what that means.
this was discussed on a previous show. But other than
Miss Montagnan, hello.
What?
One of my high school teachers.
Just reeling them in tonight.
Other than providing hilarious recreation videos by his teammates, what, if any, positivity did this Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks contract deadline that was all fabricated, no real deadline, there's all this media pish posh thrown in there? What did this do that for positivity for either side moving forward, other than just the contract being reached? You had Russell Wilson coming out, I want this contract by this date, or I'm not talking anymore. The Seahawks kind of like not really responding, and then a deal being made after the deadline. So what did this mean? What does this mean for the organization, for the player? Is there anything positive to take away from it other than the contract got done? Like, what do you take away from the situation? And do you see this being some sort of trickle effect for future quarterback negotiations?
Real quick, shout out Valerie. Thank you for tuning in.
I'll go first. I think it starts with a negative light. I really don't think that it sets the Seahawks up in a good way. They had control over Russell Wilson for this year, and then 2 more years if they had the franchise tag.
Yeah, but the tag would have gotten
It would have gotten
expensive.
But you still would have gotten those 3 more years out of him, and Russell would have gotten maybe one more deal after that.
Sure.
But you give somebody the ability to give you a deadline, and you actually fall for the bait. That's going to give a lot of your star franchise players a lot of the same ideas. Oh, if I play this card with them, they're going to deal with me. Then when they don't, that starts to create ill will. I think the Seahawks maybe should have, taken this a different route. I know Russ was playing hardball, but I think if he wanted to get the money, he really would have, just in a different way.
I think that the deadline was made more serious than it really was. Russell Wilson's a guy, I mean, he's making a lot of money. I don't think they were going to play the franchise tag game with him. I don't think he wanted that. Especially, I mean, he's a guy that we've seen get hurt, and that franchise tag offers no insurance with anything.
What's up, Ryan?
I think that Seattle loves Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson loves the Seahawks. I think he can play. I mean, we've seen him play behind a shaky offensive line anyway. I don't think he needs the top-end receivers.
Shitty.
Yeah, they've been bad. But
what offensive line?
I mean, Russell Wilson, to me, is a top-tier quarterback.
He's top 5, no question in my book.
Yeah, he's an incredible quarterback. And, I mean, I think he's deserves the money he got. It's just tough when, I mean, for any team that allocates that much money to one player. But I don't think it'll negatively affect the Seahawks. The deadline to me was fake. I really don't think it was him pushing it.
I think it would have been interesting to see what happens, considering by the second franchise tag, that year would have started the new contract with the Players Association. So I would have been curious to see what happened after that, because it really, I'm torn between saying that the NFL wants to get away from the salary cap era because it doesn't exist. And we had this discussion on the show before. If teams need to find money, they will find a way to find money. There's no reason to really limit it to the way that they are. But I mean, the way that they could have played it was given him a contract that goes until that and then played for it afterwards. Because I think that's what many of the star players are doing right now. Give me until the CBA wears out and then we'll talk again.
I mean, I think he's already done enough to earn this contract.
Shout out Uncle Bob. Tuning in.
Yeah, Uncle Bob.
So we'll move the next one along to Souls and Mass. So a team that is kind of been, in my opinion, the one team in the NFL other than the Patriots that's viewed as having a bad season if they don't win the Super Bowl, but it has nearly as much success as the Patriots, is the Green Bay Packers. I think that a lot of people have had the understanding that they have underperformed in the Aaron Rodgers era, having only made it to one Super Bowl and 2 NFC Championship games, or do they only make it to the one?
They've made it to 2.
Yeah, they made it to 2. So, a lot of people have this feeling, is it,
Hey, Noemi.
People are going to reflect on his career, and these numbers were great. He was an outstanding athlete, once in a generation player, yada, yada, yada. But I think the overall statistic at this point in time is that they've been underperforming as a team. And the last year was kind of like a rock bottom for them. They finished 3rd in the NFC North. Their offensive line was terrible. Rodgers was shaken up. The defense was exposed. They haven't had a reliable run game. They don't have depth at receiver. They've shown a lot of holes for a team that's in a rebuild. But with Aaron Rodgers, the biggest part of your rebuild's already done.
Yep.
They went out and they went against traditional Green Bay Packer fashion, much like the Bears did last offseason, and spent a lot of money on a lot of players. And now they've got 2 first-round draft picks and a new head coach. Granted, the draft hasn't happened yet, but are the Green Bay Packers poised to turn it around and be the kings of the NFC North and potential NFC favorites for the Super Bowl?
So, do you want to go first?
Go first.
What's up, Ben?
I don't know that the Green Bay Packers this season will be considered favorites for the Super Bowl. I think they have an opportunity to take it around to steal the division, maybe. Chicago, I want to wait to see how they perform during the season after having lost their defensive coordinator, who was a mastermind for that defense, which was terrifying. Until I see it working at the same fashion, I'm a little hesitant to say they're going to repeat. I do think that Green Bay has the ability to turn around if they draft well. If they draft players that they hit on, like New Orleans had 2 years ago, where they hit Marcus Williams and everybody like that. If they have a draft like that, they could turn this around in a heartbeat and definitely come up for the NFC North. I don't know that they have the ability to compete for the Super Bowl because the NFC is stacked. There are so many teams that you can say would go above them before this. I don't know that they compete for the Super Bowl. I say they're a playoff team this year, though.
Kind of the same boat, but they can make the Super Bowl because, one, they have a very young defense from last year. They're a year older, and they added more pieces. They added Preston Brown. I forgot the other two guys they added.
Williams.
You know, they're getting a healthy Rodgers back. You know, if they can get him a receiver, they can get him another weapon. Maybe if Jimmy Graham performs the way that he's supposed to, and they have an easy schedule this year too. I think they can easily make noise. Just can they get over the hump?
I think they're 1 year away from being there again.
I think they could beat the Saints this year.
Yeah, I would put them as favorites this year
because they can beat the Saints and they can beat the Rams. The Rams are hurting on defense.
They're on shaky ground right now. Their star running back has arthritis in his knee. They've lost key pieces on the defense. The Saints, I think their steam was built up to this year, and I think it kind of crashed a little bit. I'm not one to ever count Drew Brees out, but the years are going to start wearing on him then. You can say that for everybody but Tom Brady.
And the thing is that, you know, if they can get him that second receiver to go on with Devontae Adams and to play with Jimmy Graham and maybe establish Aaron Jones a little more than they have, they got a nice little team.
If they get TJ Hawkinson, I will say that they're favorites for the NFC North.
I'm not going to go off a tight end. They have a very good tight end.
I will.
No chiming in from the outside world.
Just
It's one-on-one, man.
the Packers are one of those teams that are going to be tricky to go after this year because their record might be very good. It's just going to be really depending on the defense. I think their offense is going to be just fine. I think the defense is going to be where everything's going to have to click.
Any closing arguments there, Mass?
Defense has always been Green Bay's kind of Achilles heel. They went out and spent in the offseason this year to make sure that wouldn't be the case this year. I think it's time for the offense to catch up with them because I don't think either shined really last year.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. I like it. All right. Maxine Washable and Gilberto Souls.
Ooh.
Please give me the winner. I really want.
What?
Just go.
I don't know if the one you really want is.
Oh, by the way.
I didn't tell you what these were.
To Jordan.
Huh?
Jordan Williams in the Facebook chat asked Kyle to take a shot for him.
Oh, nice. All right, so we hear a lot of mumbo jumbo in the MLB about these. You know, we know the rules, the luxury tax. You know, the teams that decide they want to go over the luxury tax and not worry about the penalty, and then the teams that don't have the ability to do that get that luxury tax money, and yada 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 yada. Should baseball establish a hard cap? Should they establish some sort of like an NFL cap thing? You know, I know that it's all the money is guaranteed, so you know, obviously there'd be structuring into how the cap would work. But should the MLB institute some sort of hard cap so that we have the ability to see maybe some contending teams like a Milwaukee Brewers team have a better possibility at landing a Bryce Harper or a Machado, but they don't have the cash to do it as a smaller market team. Whereas, you know, the Phillies or the Giants or the Padres or, you know, these bigger market team type of things. Do you think the MLB would benefit from establishing some sort of a hard cap to work with so that it's a more level playing field financially for all teams?
I don't think a cap is necessary. My opinion is that all these teams, you know, still have a chance, even with people spending all this money. But Milwaukee got Lorenzo Cain. They traded for Christian Yelich. And they were right in the mix of everything last year. Their downfall is that they didn't go after the big-time pitcher. Not because they don't have the money to, because they didn't do it. They didn't want to trade all these relievers and young prospects for a starter. That's where I think a lot of fans get aggravated. It's not the money aspect. Anybody has the money. You can go over the cap, whatever. You just have to pay the luxury tax. teams are very equipped to their own prospects. And they're just prospects. You don't know what they're going to be in the pros. We've seen time after time the number one prospect in whole Major League Baseball come up, do nothing. And they had a chance to trade him. Like the Phillies, when they got Roy Halladay, they traded the number one prospect, Kyle Drabeck. People thought that's too much. Kyle Drabeck was in the league for a year and a half. Now he's out of the league playing independent ball. This year the Phillies traded for JT Realmuto. They gave up Sixto Sanchez, who's a single-A guy. You don't know what he's going to turn out to be. You're going to go get that player that's going to be good for your team now. And that's what a lot of teams don't do. The money aspect is just how the Yankees have all the money in the world to spend, but they're good right now because of their farm system. If that makes if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are looking at me when you talk. You're talking to Mock, not me.
Well, it's funny because I don't disagree with him. I mean, I think a cap would be beneficial in baseball, but I don't think it would help smaller market teams get big name free agents. I still think any team in the league has money to spend for any free agent. It's just
who's willing to go the extra mile.
They don't land them. I mean, someone like the most recent was Bryce Harper. I mean, he could have went anywhere.
The Giants were looking at him. They're not a small market team. They're not. Yeah. They got, like in the years past, they got the big name guys. It's just that they struck out on Harper. They didn't want to give him the $300.
Who did they ever get in free agency?
Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence. Sorry.
But at the time, Hunter Pence was a very big
Shut the
name.
fuck up.
Johnny Cueto.
It's Cueto.
He's
not very good now.
But at the time, they were were the headline of the free agency class.
All right. Brett Barron, I'd like you to converse with Massey on your opinions of the elimination or universal elimination or universal addition of the DH in the major league level.
You going to disagree with me? Or?
No, I don't know.
That's why you go first.
first.
That's why you go first.
No. Let's find out what you say.
All right.
I'll disagree with you so you can disagree with me.
Well, I wanted to say the same. I like the separation of the leagues and how they are different. I guess if I had to choose an adding of one entirely,
No, you don't have to choose. I'm just saying.
I like it exactly how it is. I like when there's interleague play and the NL team has to adapt and add a DH, and when the AL has to come play an NL team, they have to bat a pitcher. I think it works in baseball. It creates, makes it great to come World Series time. Because your whole game plan changes. A pitcher who bats, twice a season has to come in and then perform on the grandest stage of baseball. It's the perfect way. It's the perfect matchup in baseball. It should stay unchanged. That's my feelings.
I really want to agree with you, but just for the sake of making you go first, I will disagree with you. So I think we should, screw it. I think I agree with you. We're going to keep the DH position. I really like you said, I like that teams have to consider, when they're going against NL teams or AL teams, they have to switch up their idea of who they're going to sub in. Making it for the World Series, you get a team that hasn't actually prepped for this. And that could really come and bite them in the ass. It's actually a lot of fun when you watch somebody that hasn't had the time to prepare for it. They get up to the grand stage and they're just like, what do we do at this point?
How did the World Series become called the grand stage?
Kendall said it. Massey's rolling with it.
Yeah, you're like coining this like fucking
Did he actually say
WrestleMania
that?
of baseball.
Yeah.
Did he actually say that?
The granddaddy of them all.
I did say that, yes.
All right, I will give it to you
He's
then.
on the grandest stage of them all. He's Mr. World Series.
I thought it was Mr. October.
No, shut up.
All right. I do like when, we have to watch teams, like you said, make adjustments and actually show that they've planned for this. But
should I go back at my words so we have
All pitchers should hit.
I like to see CC hit.
All of them should hit.
So you think they should eliminate the DH?
Yeah. Or
All right.
or just make 10 batters. Who cares? Pitchers should hit.
I like it.
We do it in softball.
Yeah.
You bat 11 guys, 12.
Yeah.
You could bat from 9 to 12.
You need 10. Well, 9 if you have an automatic out.
But you can bet now.
Now that's a dumb rule. Automatic out. Have less guys
Let's
to be
talk
good.
about that.
No, we're not.
Let's talk about
All right, bowling for softball rec leagues. Let's
Bill
go.
Farmer on the line.
The guy's taking a shit in a porta potty somewhere.
Bill, can you hear us? What?
Boo's requesting dancing girls. So Rebecca,
And souls.
Boo's asking for it.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Boo.
I have an itchy mole. Should get that checked.
I do agree. Imagine that the back road is, actually, we'll go to Scores. We'll rent them out for 3 hours.
This is West Haven. We'll find somebody.
Go to the beach.
What do you got, Riddler?
All right. So this one is for this one's. I'm a big fan of this one. So this one's going to be for Maxine Washable. Oh, okay.
Yep. Tag it.
All right. Well, I'll save it for when. Are you going to be? Is he going to be back before the end of the hour? 'Cause I really wanted to do this one.
He's pretty quick. He'll
Right.
5 minutes or so.
Oh, does anybody have any that they would like to propose? I didn't know. If
Souls.
So,
Kyler Murray will not go number 1 overall.
He's really excited to talk
Okay,
about
fine. Chris Massey and Kyle Souls. Is Kyler Murray the slam dunk option at number 1 overall?
yes.
You should change that. It's like the number 1 option to the Cardinals number 1 overall.
What? No, why?
Because there's talk that there are teams that could trade up for him.
So then he's still the number 1 overall pick.
Well, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
We're trading up to be the number 2 selection.
Yeah, well, all right. Murray will not be the number 1 pick.
I think he will.
He will not.
All right. Well, my opinion,
That's it.
Is
Like, can we
that-
get some like to the
I think the Oakland Raiders will trade up to get.
I told you this last night. You were
You're
not
right,
allowed
but
to
I
steer
also
that
agree
argument.
with it because I think the Oakland Raiders. It was a thing today. John Gruden loves Kyler Murray, but does not love Derek Carr, which is stupid, but whatever.
So just keep talking.
So I personally think that Kyler Murray could be the quarterback of the Raiders because the Raiders are just a fucking dumb organization and they're gonna keep doing shit like that anyways.
I don't think that this is the year that Oakland trades up for a quarterback, even though it's the year that they should because they have all the ammo to do
But they
so.
shouldn't. They have a quarterback. They have Derek Carr.
They have the ammo to build.
Poor guy fucking hiked the ball and there's 76 guys in front of him.
That's impressive considering a defense only has 11.
You know what I mean, you dick. I'm just
It's
saying.
the one play game where the fans are allowed to go into. NFL's don't use it enough. They spin the wheel before every game.
But like, Kyler Murray's going to be the number 1 pick. Some team is going to be like, okay, Cardinals don't want him. Cardinals are willing to trade down. We want a quarterback. Miami, steep hill to climb, but they're the dumb team to do it.
I don't think that Oakland will trade up to number 1 because I don't think that Arizona is stupid enough to take Kyler Murray. Teams will call their bluff. Because here's the thing. If Arizona wants Kyler Murray, they're taking Kyler Murray. That's it. Cut dry the end. If they don't, teams will know that they're not going to take him, and they'll trade up another time. There is no team that will trade up to number 1. The ammo that will cost. Washington traded up to the Rams from what, 5-2 or 5-1? No, 5-2 because they had to go after the Redskins. It cost 3 number 1s and 2 number 2s. Can you imagine what the Raiders would have to give up?
All 3 first this year.
And more. It's only got more expensive.
Oh, I get it, but they're John Gruden dumb enough to do it.
If anything, he would swap with the Jets. You know that the 49ers aren't going to do it. If the Cardinals take Bosa like they think they will, if they were smart, that's who they'd take. They would take Bosa right then and there. Then you trade back. 49ers are there. 49ers are going to take a quarterback. You know that. You trade, or they pick Josh Allen, maybe. Maybe they pick Quentin Williams. Who knows? Maybe they take Devin Bush. Who knows? They could use help along that entire defense.
To take Devin Bush is kind of a reach.
I think it's a
Right there
reach,
on
but
those.
you never know. I don't think John Lynch is
Devin
the Grinch
White, you
trapper.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry.
Throw in the same goal.
Kyler Murray will not be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Well, so you guys are talking about. We'll just do this little mini discussion here on this. So the Raiders pick at 4.
Yes.
So what would the Raiders have to give up to get to 1?
All 3 number 1 picks, probably 2 2s, maybe a little bit more than that.
So everything that they have in the first 2 rounds this year.
Arizona, if they really want Murray, Arizona will know that they want Murray. They will make them bleed dry to trade up to get Murray.
Now, do you think there's a chance that the Cardinals don't want Murray? Or not that they don't want Murray, but do you think there's a chance that the Cardinals are willing to give up the first pick but still aren't sold on Rosen and want
Like
two
trade
first-round picks and Carr?
No, because if anything, they would have brought in Kingsbury to fix their number one pick, as it were. You don't give up on a quarterback after one season. It's wrong to do. Look at what happened with Jeff Fisher and Jared Goff.
A lot of teams do that, though.
But they shouldn't. Look at Jared Goff and Jeff Fisher. Fisher looked like he had an absolute bust as a quarterback pick. Sean McVay comes in, and they make it to the playoffs the next year. The year after that, they go to the Super Bowl.
Jared Goff decided he wanted to suck for his first year. He's the reason he conspired against Fisher. His fault Fisher's gone. McVay is a piece of shit. There's all a giant conspiracy. The Rams deserve to die.
Jeff Fisher deserves a job.
Have you guys seen him on Twitter? He's funny as hell.
I hope the Seahawks win the next 5 Super Bowls and then Fisher gets the job from Pete Carroll and wins 10 more. That's
Well, hold on.
what I hope.
Hold on. Jeff Fisher's going to the XFL.
No.
I want that.
Sean McVay's going to get fired after not beating the Seahawks for 20 straight years. He'll still look like a 12-year-old.
I'm okay if Sean is our coach for 12 more years. You said we weren't going to beat the Seahawks. You didn't say we weren't going to win anything else.
You're not going to win the Super Bowl because it just said the Seahawks are winning the next 15.
Oh, well,
It's a rough time.
I'm okay with it.
we got 5 Super Bowls in there.
No.
20-year run for the NFC, baby.
NFC West. Yeah, it's agonizing. Ugh.
What's the closest we've ever come to that?
New England.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we're witnessing right now.
That's true.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Tom Brady's going to play for another 20 years.
Don't say that. Anyways.
For the Ravens.
And he is going to be better than he was in New England.
Paul and Massey.
Ooh, all right.
Got one for you too. The
Do you
Cleveland Browns
do you
will
want me to-
not.
Do you want me to? This isn't a hot take thing.
No. It's a discussion. The Cleveland Browns will not exceed expectations.
What are their expectations?
Their expectations to win the North and go to the playoffs.
Paul Massey, the Cleveland Browns won't be a team this year.
All right. Riddler, would you like to go first?
Yeah. I don't think their expectations are to win the NFC North. I really don't. I think there was a lot of media hype about OBJ going to the Browns, and that this is like it got blown out of proportion because we just saw Antonio Brown and Bell leave the Steelers. It actually finally happened. We saw the Ravens lose defensive pieces. We saw that the Bengals are still going to be the Bengals with or without Marvin Lewis. He'll always be there in spirit, so they won't do anything. But the thing with the Browns is that I don't really think that there's an expectation for them to win the NFC North because at the end of it, they're big. What the hell was that?
AFC.
Oh, AFC North. Okay, just say it. Correct me on the air.
Well,
This just looks like you're trying to do some weird like dick in your finger thing.
A10, remember the thing when we were in
Anyway,
middle school?
Penis.
so I don't think there's expectations for them to win the NFC North. I think there's expectations for them to make the playoffs, and I think that they will meet those expectations. I think they will make the playoffs. I don't know that they'll win the North, but I think that I think they can very easily be a wild card. Nobody in the AFC except for the Patriots is a lock for a wild card spot at all. Nobody in the thing. I mean, realistically, the Texans and the Colts are the only 2 teams that are at right now on paper poised to make the playoffs because we don't know what we're going to get out of Nick Foles. And then you have the Chargers and the Chiefs out in the West, even though the Chiefs are looking like they're going to take a step back, especially with Hill probably missing time. I mean, the Broncos, who knows with any team really, but can the Browns outlast the Texans and the Chargers? Yeah, I think they could,
Death taxes and the Patriots winning the AFC East.
which is what's going to happen. But I think those are the real expectations because realistically, if you really break it down, what do they have? If you really look at their roster, what do they have on their roster that shows that they should 100% win the AFC North without a problem? Talent, yes. experience in winning divisions?
No.
No, they don't have that. Everybody else that they're going up against does have that in that division. Andy Dalton, the Bengals have won a division, right?
Yeah.
Under
Yeah,
Dalton,
like twice and then lost
they've
in
won.
the
But I'm
first
saying
round.
Roethlisberger's won plenty. The fuck's his name there? The
John
head coach
Harbaugh?
Harbaugh's won them. Other players on the Ravens have been there for division winnings, last year. But I mean, but like in other times, I'm saying like, has Beckham been a member of the Giants when they've won the division?
No.
I don't think the Giants really played well since Beckham is.
No,
been
they
around.
Have they
not.
been? You know what I'm saying Landry was a Dolphin, so no. Baker Mayfield. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they have a lot of really good talent, but they don't have that winning mentality to go out and just like, we've got the division, no problem. They don't have that. So for me, I don't think their expectations are to win the division. I think their expectations are to make the playoffs, and I think they'll meet them.
I agree with you, Riddler, just in a different fashion. I really think that the thing that's going to be limiting them is in a very different way their coaching staff. Their coaching staff came from nothing. You got Freddie Kitchens, who started out as an offensive coordinator from last year's regime, and all of a sudden now he's here. He's a head coach. What does he bring to the table? He doesn't bring anything. You know who has the most experience with winning in that locker room? Probably Mayfield. Mayfield hasn't had enough time in the NFL to drive them unquestioned into winning the division. I don't think that the Steelers are nearly as bad as they look on paper, with everybody saying they're going to fall apart and everything like that. They've gotten rid of a lot of the cancer. Ravens are nowhere near as bad as everybody thinks they are. And I think that the Bengals actually take a step forward rather than a step back this year.
So we'll get into this a little bit of discussion before we break. This will be the hot take to close it out. I think, in my own opinion, the Browns made the right head coaching decision.
I agree.
It's kind of like pretty much said a lot of shit that didn't sound like you agree.
I said he was inexperienced. I didn't say it was the wrong choice.
Said he doesn't have a winning mentality.
I said he doesn't have the winning experience.
I think that Freddie Kitchens is the right man for the job in that team. I think as much as I liked what's his face did there, what's the hell the defensive coordinator?
Greg Williams.
Yeah.
He was not the right person for the job.
It's not that he wasn't the right person for the job. It's just that you had to pick who did you want to keep in your organization, Williams or Kitchens. When you have Baker Mayfield, when you have a young quarterback that's proven that he's ready to start winning now, you need to keep the guy that's been there during that season maintaining him. There's nothing worse for a young quarterback than change. Needs consistency.
Agreed.
And it's only going to be a bigger respect level when the calls are coming from him as a head coach versus an offensive coordinator.
Should have just brought back Hugh Jackson.
Bring him back.
Coughlin.
Or Marvin Lewis.
All right, real quick, we got a minute. I really wanted Mass and Mock to do this. You guys got a minute, so rapid fire back and forth between the two of you, okay? Should the NBA change its playoff seedings? Right now, they just do 1 through 8, best 8 teams in the division in the conference play each other 8-1 to 7, blah 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 blah. Should they adapt the NHL policy where rework the division so there's 2 divisions in each conference and the divisions play each other out into the Eastern, kind of like how the NFL does it. Divisions play. It doesn't say the NFL.
East to the West.
No, the NHL plays it where 3 winners from each division, 2 wild cards. You get through your division bracket, play the winner from the other division bracket, and then go to the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun. I agree that they should change it up to do that.
Right now, they have 3 divisions in each conference, and the divisions mean nothing because you can have a whole division not make the playoffs.
It'll make for rivalry in the playoffs. That sounds exciting.
Well, you have rivalry anyway. I mean, it's just not within divisions. It's the conferences. I mean, I kind of...
Right, but because of that, because of the way that the divisions are right now, a team like the Pacers will play the Pistons more than the Pacers will play the Celtics.
No, I understand that. I mean, for me, I'd rather see just get rid of the divisions. I like that the top 8 from each side go. The teams that deserve to be there are there.
I don't know. I like seeing the division stuff, even if there's teams that don't deserve to be there.
So
it makes for a better storyline.
Then adapt it to the NFL. Should the top 6 teams make it in the NFL? No divisions.
Personally, I would like to see that.
No, because then you get games like the Steelers and the Ravens in the playoffs when it was for the division. You know, one of them was a wild card, one of them was the actual winner of the division. That game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but then you don't have a 7-9 Seahawks team in the playoffs versus teams that went 10-6.
But then you don't get a Giants team that didn't deserve to be in that race and then beat the Patriots on their undefeated season.
They went in 10-6. They were a wild card team. They were one of the top teams on that.
But they wouldn't have made the playoffs that year.
How? They were a wild card team.
Wouldn't
If the top 6
Oh,
from
no, you're
each
right.
side
I
go, they would have
apologize.
went. It's just
But the year the Seahawks went 7-9, the Seahawks won their wild card game.
I
Yeah.
understand that, like, that was a thing. It happens, but I like to have,
Take that, Chef.
you know,
So should the NFL
the
get-
top 8 from
I don't
each
know. It
side.
makes a Cinderella story.
Six,
if
just
you-
top, well, for the NFL, it'd be 6. So you think the
6.
NFL should get rid of divisions and just have the NFC and the AFC?
absolutely
because-
not. They're
I
that
love the
just-
divisions. It's just I wish that's how the playoffs. I know having division rivalries and everything is such a key in football, and it makes it exciting. But I get so irritated, like when it's 7-9 team.
But then teams don't hate each other as much. Those games
No,
are no
I get that.
fun.
I understand that. But a team that's 7-9
I
should
look
not be in the
forward
playoffs.
to the Rams 49ers games. I look forward to the Bears Packers games. I look forward to the Steelers Ravens games. Those games are fun to watch because of the history of those teams.
Unless
I
you're sitting
agree.
in the room with Kyle when it's
I
super
agree.
driven.
But if the
We've
Steelers,
gotten into NFL. We should take this back to NBA.
but if the Steelers are 7-9, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And if there's a team that's 10-6, they were just the example. But if there's a team that's 10-6 in a division that already had two, an 11-5 and another 10-6 team, they should be in ahead of a 7-9 team.
No, they should have beaten those two teams if they wanted to be in the playoffs. That's all it is. They were the third best team in that division, and you're saying that they should still be in it. That's
Over a
worse than a
team.
wild card team.
But it's not, because if you win your division at 7-9, you should not be in the playoffs. If there's teams that finish with a better record than you don't
Disagree.
deserve a spot.
I think that I said that they should reseed the playoffs.
So just
I forget
because
how the NBA playoffs are, right?
It's 1 through 8.
All
it's
right,
1
so
through
yeah,
8, regardless of division.
No, I like the divisions. I still say that makes for the more interesting storylines for the NBA.
Wrap it up. All right. We're going to come back in 2 minutes' time. We went a little over 9 here. So 2 minutes' time, we got some NBA talk to come up with, and then we've got some bracket stuff, all kinds of fun things to get into. So we'll be back in 120 seconds here on the PPRN Radio Network.
Start.
Nice.
What up, Eunice?
Mock really wanted to lead the discussion tonight on NBA talk. So, Mock, what do you got?
Well, in terms of what?
No, you're leading it.
NBA
Just
playoffs. Let's
whatever
talk.
you feel like talking about.
Not that.
Throwback jerseys? Is that what I heard?
All right, so we stated earlier, the NBA playoffs they're underway. We're getting ready to start wrapping up the first round. We have a lot of teams that have already got 3 wins under their belt, looking to close out the series at some point earlier in the early portions of this week. So we'll go around the matchups. Souls, I'm gonna let you lead the reins on this one on the NBA segment.
All
right.
Hey, George, what's up?
So we're gonna start things off with we'll kind of just go series by series, and just kind of discuss, disagree, agrees, whatever you guys want. But the current MVP of every series so far. So Souls, pick a series. Let's lead us off. Who do you think? Who you got?
We'll go with San Antonio, Denver.
Okay.
In my opinion, the MVP of that series is DeMar DeRozan. He's really the one doing everything for the Spurs, and a big reason why they have 2 wins. The Spurs were beating the Nuggets for a long time in that game 4, and the Nuggets just somehow, after DeRozan, someone got ejected from that game.
DeRozan.
Yeah,
DeRozan, because he wasn't happy with he thought it was a block, but it ended up being a charge, and he threw the ball at the ref.
So once he got ejected, that's when the Spurs fell apart. When DeRozan's in the game, the Spurs I believe, are a better overall team than the Nuggets. The Spurs went through like a rough part of the season where they were trying to figure out point guard situations very early. After DeJounte Murray got hurt, they were looking for that piece to help to fit with LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. And what really started working for them with DeMar DeRozan taking care of the ball, being the guy to pass and taking control of the team. And that's when LaMarcus Aldridge started playing well, and that's when the Spurs started to click.
I mean, I'd have to agree. I can't really find an argument over who would be the better, more valuable player. I mean, it's hard to make the argument for a Nugget given the series, because the series right now is what?
2-2.
2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you could make the argument for a Nugget, but I agree with you that the Spurs are the better overall team, and the Nuggets really should be down 3-1 if DeRozan hadn't gotten a hot head. It's like I said, it's hard to argue. I think an unsung hero in this series has been LaMarcus Aldridge. He just hasn't. LaMarcus Aldridge, since joining the Spurs, hasn't put up the Portland Trailblazers LaMarcus numbers, but it's still been a very pivotal point in all the team's success that they've had. He hasn't really been a member of the downfall portions of it.
He's the MVP for me for that reason. And you actually took the words out of my mouth. I was kind of the unsung hero, kind of just it's been solid all the way through. Actually, he was the points leader. I don't know if it was game 2. It wasn't, at the double check. But just like none of the flash, but all the, not the potential. So what I'm flubbering here. None of the flash, but all of the payoff, I guess. So that's why he's my MVP through the series. Denver, I can't pick anyone, and I'd be surprised if they pull out a victory.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. They're the 2 seed for a reason. They have Joe Kick. They have, Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, Will Barton. They have a deeper team. I just think the Spurs' overall starting 5 is better.
Plus, the Spurs have the best head coach in basketball.
Well, that was going to be my argument.
We could talk about the deepness of the Nuggets. Torrey Craig coming out.
You should just say depth.
The deepness.
Max's face.
The whole deepness.
The deepness of Denver. Torrey Craig really coming out in game 4, coming off the bench and really, stole the spotlight and starting to line up for the Nuggets. Came out, scored 18 points, was shooting 5 of 7 for 3. Still showed impressiveness on the defense. Obviously, he's not the MVP of the series so far, but kid came out and played pretty damn well for, the series that he's in. I thought he, brought a life to the Nuggets in the last game and certainly may have sparked something for them to continue on the series to go to game 7.
The deepness.
The deepness.
coming to you live.
So
We'll go to another game. We'll go to the Sixers Nets. Sixers are up 3-1. Nets won game one. Sixers won the last three. So you can. I'm gonna do a two-parter here, just because.
no, pick one.
I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Ben Simmons has really taken over in this series. With him beat out, he scored 30 points. Had about, he still passed the ball. He still rebounded. He rebounds better when Embiid's not there, because he's 6'10". He has the length to rebound. But in my opinion, I think Jared Dudley really lit a fire underneath him and made Simmons just play a lot harder. Jared Dudley coming out saying, in the paint he's great. If he couldn't score
In transition.
In transition, yeah.
In transition, he's great. At half court, he's average.
Since you said that, Ben Simmons is playing out of his mind. He lit the fire underneath him, and that's the wrong thing to do when you're playing a team.
I'm gonna go against the grain on this one, but I'm gonna say LeVert is the MVP of the series for me, even though they're down 3-1, because I agree with you that Simmons did take over in the game when Embiid was out, but that was one game, and he hasn't really done that again. And no player for the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers are the better team. They're deeper. They've got way more talent in their starting.
Deepener,
yeah. They've got more talent in their starting five than the Nets have in their whole team. And they're, like I said, they're by far the better team, and there's no reason that they shouldn't.
Well, personally, I think the
win
Nets are a deeper team. I think the Sixers have more talent.
No, I think the Sixers are still deeper.
Yeah, anyone think Jared Dudley just looks like a guy playing at the Y? He just looks like a pickup guy that walked into the wrong locker room.
But LeVert is playing out of his mind, and he's a big reason. Him, Dinwiddie, and D'Angelo Russell are the reason that these games are as close as they have been, especially Game 4. And a big part of the reason they won Game 1. The Sixers, like I said, they're the better team. They have more scoring options. They're better in terms of talent, but no one person has taken over the series for them. And LeVert has stepped up to the playoff stage, and he is showcasing his talent. I think that he's win or lose the series. I think coming away from it, he's the MVP of the series. Even if it's just because, even if they lose 4-1, they still won the game. They're not going to be considered losers coming out of this playoff series, regardless of what happens. And he has completely turned it up a notch and showcased his talents.
For me, it's Embiid, points leader in 2 out of the 4 games. Say what you want. You score points, you win the game. Yeah, 3 out of the games you played, single doubles. I no one counts them, but I count them. But he had single doubles in every game he's played in. 22 points, 36 points.
You're kind of like an asshole if you don't record a single double.
Well, I mean, I look at a guy like Zahari Smith, who averaged a minute and didn't do anything.
Because he played 5 games this year.
Well, Kyle, the stats speak for themselves. So you take it up with coaching.
He was hurt.
Kyle, he played.
He was one of the rookies that got hurt because that's what we do.
Kyle, he played in the game.
We draft a guy and they immediately get hurt right after.
On Saturday,
Yeah, it means you're getting rookie of the
4-13,
year.
he played 1 minute.
Because they were up by like 15.
Kyle, it doesn't matter. Get on the court, do something. Don't just be a body out there.
Make some noise.
It's kind of hard when they tell him just to hold the ball. But all right.
Kyle, you do everything you're told?
Yeah.
All right, then go pick up those sticks.
Already did.
Inside joke. Joel Embiid, MVP.
Anybody else have anything to chime in?
I made my Dudley comment. He should be playing at the local YMCA. Other than that,
Souls?
All right, then we'll go to the Bucks Pistons. This one would be quick.
Antler combo.
Yeah,
Antler combo.
Giannis. Pistons suck.
Moving on.
Antler combo is just continuing his regular season play into the postseason. That's all he had to do to be the MVP of any series that the Bucks win.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. Not much analysis needed.
So we'll go with Celtics Pacers.
what's up, Craig?
It's over.
It's over.
Wasn't Oladipo.
It wasn't a It wasn't a pretty series. It was a lot of defense. But I'm just going to give it to Kyrie. Because when they scored, he was the one scoring. The Celtics played awesome defense, and the Patriots just ran out of luck.
I agree. Kind of low scoring games in the grand scheme of things, what we consider for the NBA. But my MVP is Marcus Morris, double-digit points off the bench in 3 games for the Celtics. So he's my MVP of that series.
I still think it's Kyrie. He's leading that team. He's making, scoring the points.
Don't use my argument.
No, but I mean, really, to me, the Celtics are going to kind of live or die by how Kyrie plays. If he doesn't play well, I don't see that team really doing much.
I think, too, we kind of discussed this, I believe, last week, or it was the week before. I think we were kind of hopeful that the Pacers would win, and then that would kind of be knock the Celtics out, and then that would be the end of it. But now it seems kind of like that momentum is on their side,
Yeah.
And now they kind of control their destiny. I'm just saying jargon. I'm sorry, just nonsense spewing out of my mouth.
Well, at least you knew it.
At least I knew it.
What do you got, Souls?
All right, then we'll go to
Wait, does Riddler and Mass have an MVP?
Nah, Kyrie. Just so
Matt is eating crackers.
eating Funyuns.
Whatever, those are
When I
crackers.
was a kid, someone told me if you eat too many Funyuns, your lips will get fat.
The Mass is trying to come back down to earth so he can actually talk.
All right, so we'll go to the
Have some of that iced tea in there.
we'll go to Warriors Clippers. This is easy. This is Kevin Durant. He's taking over games. He's playing both sides of the ball very well. They lost game 2, I think it was, but then he came out firing.
Yeah, they lost in embarrassing fashion at home.
Yes, they did.
That was when they dropped the 30-point lead.
31-point lead.
Yeah,
And since
3-1.
just Kevin Durant, I think, been playing better than both.
You should take a shot.
Why? That's
You-
a thing for them.
You should take a shot.
No, come
Yes,
on.
yes.
Take one. Stop being.
He'll just
Listen.
never take a shot.
He's got no excuse now. We got a purified private stock right there.
Just a 3-1 joke.
I just think Kevin Durant's been the best all-around player.
That was my MVP as well.
Pat Bev. I give it to Pat Bev. Pat Bev has, even though Kevin Durant has put up the numbers against him, he's been the elite version of him in this series. He's been in your head. He's gotten under people's skin. He's showcased that he's a top still defensive player. And really, the Clippers as an organization, really, that whole team should just be the MVP. The fact that they won a game, especially in the way that they won that one game, given the fact that everybody on that team was pretty much given up on within the past 2 years.
After they traded Tobias, I thought they were done.
And they're showing that they are more than ready to contend next year for the playoffs again. But
Then we'll go to Utah, Houston.
James Harden,
Yep.
guy, even when he sucks, they win.
Pretty darn good, that fella.
He broke an NFL. He broke an NBA playoff.
Might as
record.
well have breaking an NFL.
He broke an NBA playoff record for starting off a game with most consecutive missed shots. Went 0 for 15 to start the game.
Oh, get me in the league.
And then
Get
he
me in the league.
Have you seen his
finished with
tape?
40.
Huh?
And he finished with 40.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking nuts.
And the Jazz, there's nobody worth saying because they're just being outplayed on all sides of the ball.
Donovan Mitchell can't do it by himself.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for that series.
Yeah, I mean Gobert's a great defensive player, but really it's a wash because it's Capella versus Gobert. It's like, oh, I'm going to play great defense. Good, I don't really play offense. Yeah, me either. So we're useless.
Let's just stay down here.
Hey, you want to fake injuries?
Yeah, it's pretty much how it goes.
Virgilio's. It's for Virgilio's.
Then we'll go to Orlando, Toronto. This is a tough series for me because I haven't really paid attention to
Kyle
it
Lowry.
because I don't really care about this series. I just knew Toronto was going to win.
Spicy P.
Yeah, Spicy P has been playing out of his mind.
Yeah,
Like
like
you
all
guys don't know
year.
it's Pascal Siakam.
That's my MVP. Points leader in 2 games. And that's all I have to say about that.
Does it sound like the notes on your phone?
It is, yes.
Did you do this an hour and a half ago
No, like about 5 or 6 hours ago.
in Kyle's bedroom?
Yes.
Like
Well-
you can say Kawhi because he's been playing pretty well, but I think Pascal's really taking over as the playoff guy right now. I'm sure it'll change once they play better teams.
All right. So what are some teams that are?
Oh, hold on, we have one more.
Oh, sorry. Thought you said
OKC, Portland,
Dame.
by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
God,
my
go
guy.
ahead.
So
Joseph Nurkic. he's
So, Mark,
been a-
who are some teams that are like really have like lost momentum through this first round of the playoffs?
Huh.
Pacers are probably one, right?
No, I mean, at least from what I've seen, I mean, the teams that I thought were going to win these series are winning them. I haven't seen anyone that's really surprised me.
I mean, I think the argument can be made for Oklahoma City. At the end of the day, they have their 2 stars are bigger or combined bigger 2 stars than Portland's 2 stars,
Yes,
even with Nurkic.
but Oklahoma's that team too. They're just snake bitten. Like they get to the playoffs and just don't typically do anything with it.
I
mean,
also think that a lot of momentum has been lost in Toronto sales.
exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, they lost a game to Orlando. That's enough.
And they haven't played fantastic.
They could win the other 4 games by a margin of 80 points, and I still would give them momentum loss.
Yeah.
They lost to the Orlando Magic,
Well,
and they had their star point guard put up a goose egg in a game, a playoff game.
They're just like they beat the Magic by like 7 points, 5 points. They're not blowing them out like they should be, And it's just.
Well, do you guys give any credit to the Magic for hanging tough, or is it really that much of?
I think the Raptors are doing what they do,
I think the Raptors are underperforming more than the Magic are overperforming.
and I think the Raptors are doing what they do in the playoff. They don't play well. They did that last year. They made it to the second round, and they got fucking swept by the Cavs. They can beat that first team. But when they play a better team, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yep. Well, the Cavs weren't a better team.
I think the Sixers might probably will lose them because they're not a good playoff team yet either. But
What about teams gaining momentum? Anybody gaining momentum? Souls?
Houston,
Milwaukee.
Houston.
It's hard to argue that a number 1 seed and best team in the NBA is gaining momentum, but they're fucking doing it. Boston also gaining momentum. Yes, it was an injured Pacers team missing by far and away their best player, but Boston really was scaring their fans and getting shaky as the stretch was coming down. And the Celtics, they should have been a team that should have been contending for that number 2 seed, and they were lucky to have any home advantage at all. And
now they're probably going to go to Milwaukee, which will be a fun series.
Yep.
But I say Houston because they took care of one of the best defensive teams in basketball.
And they showed that they can win games, or not win games, but they can stay in games and compete when their only legitimate big scoring threat isn't performing, which was big. Because that was one. It's no question mark as to what Houston's game plan is. It's that we're going to shoot more threes than you and we're going to outscore you. And when the guy that does the majority of that scoring isn't scoring,
They were able to stay competitive.
right. What about individual players that are individual or teams that are surprising or disappointing so far through these playoffs? So I think we could go straight into the Nets series. I think everybody on the Nets except for D'Angelo Russell is a big surprise. I think everybody, like, the team was still good, but I think everybody has stepped up in these playoffs, even though they're down 3-1. Dinwiddie, LeVert, Dudley, these guys. Dudley's an annoying guy. That's what he is. That's the type of player he is. He's an in your head,
Throwing
annoying
out
guy.
so many YMCA's.
But he has stepped it up. But he stepped it up in the playoffs. And LeVert, like we talked about it earlier, and Dinwiddie, like that whole team has really just escalated their game to like the D'Angelo Russell level for the playoffs. They're playing a team that is by far better, but I think that's a surprise. Same thing with the Clippers. I think it's a big surprise for where that team's headed next year. Those teams.
Personally, I think Jimmy Butler's been a big, big disappointment. He scored a lot of points in that game 1, but has yet to do anything after that. It's been Embiid, it's been Simmons, even Tobias Harris.
Scott.
Tobias Harris had a big game. Butler just
Still not sure how Mike Scott's not in jail.
yeah, me neither. We talked about this before, but
But I think that says a lot about your homegrown stars performing. You know, Butler was the late ad. You know, you have high expectations for
I
him.
mean,
but
Butler was added way before Tobias Harris.
well, with the exception, I'm talking about the Embiid
But ever since
and Simmons.
Butler had that first week where he was really clutch. And ever since then, he hasn't been the Jimmy Butler that we know.
All right, so let's step ahead. Let's see into the future for a second. Let's say if he goes out and has a big game and they win because of him, do your feelings change, or do you still hold on to that sentiment?
They might change a little bit, but not much. I think I'm gonna say this. Embiid's not playing Game 5.
No.
Okay, so this is gonna be Ben Simmons' show.
Okay, well, let me ask you something. What would it take for the performance for him to make you change your mind, if there's one at all?
A big defensive game where he just shuts down D'Angelo Russell.
Which isn't going to happen because Ben Simmons plays good enough defense. I mean,
Ben Simmons plays the 3 all the time. He doesn't.
no, Ben Simmons.
He guards the 3 himself.
No, in Game 4, Ben Simmons was on D'Angelo Russell the whole game.
Was he?
Yep.
Okay. Because like sometimes they have JJ Redick up there. I'm like, don't do that.
Actually,
Stop that.
it was funny. The commentator said, "I made the legend Bob Souls laugh because JJ Redick, the comment, like he ticked the ball with his fingertips and it went out of play on what would have been a wide open 3, and the commentator was like, "Oh, good defense by JJ Redick," and I was like, "That's an oxymoron."
Like JJ Redick cannot play defense.
No. JJ Redick is just a more handsome TJ McConnell. He just runs around and just catches the ball and throws it up in the air.
Look at me.
But like that's fine.
Since JJ Redick's been drafted, he's never missed the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
3 teams never missed the playoffs.
That's
4.
cool.
4 teams.
Even cooler.
Milwaukee,
I knew Milwaukee. Who am I missing?
Let's all get his
Magic,
jersey.
Milwaukee, LA Sixers.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was a Clipper. I don't know how I forgot that. I don't know how I remembered he was a Buck, but not a Clipper. Whoops.
You got traded for Tobias Harris. Good move, Rob.
I won't do it.
I have another disappointment.
What do you got?
I think it's fair to say that, in all honesty, I got nothing.
All right. Well, I got a surprise.
Nah, Donovan Mitchell. I think he's
Yeah.
been a disappointment. I
Well,
also think
it's
Klay
not
Thompson's
his
been a disappointment. I also think Draymond Green smells.
But that's on a side note.
No, it
if
says right here in my notes. Surprises, disappointments, smelly.
Well, my biggest surprise so far is Shai Gilgeous.
It does say
Alexander.
smelly.
You say Shinedown was a disappointment?
No.
I agree with that.
Shai Gilgeous Alexander. He's the point guard for the Clippers. He plays extremely well defense, and he does
I'm sorry, what?
extremely well defense. You can give me a shot, but that's what I'm saying.
No, don't give him a shot. I got to drive him home.
He plays very good defense,
My name, extremely well defense.
and
You killed my father.
he's not
You better do
he's not
that.
a polished offensive player yet, but he does the little things right. You know, he scores in the paint. He can't shoot yet, but he will. That's how the NBA works. Ben Simmons will never be a shooter, but he can be. But he's just one of those guys that, you know, that's really taking the playoffs, not to the, like, he's taking it to the next level, but he's not going to change the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's just playing over expectations.
Anybody else? Surprises, disappointments?
I agree with the Donovan Mitchell thing. I mean, it's just a young kid trying to do it all on his own.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's hard to label it as a disappointment given the supporting cast around him, but I've expected more from him. Like, I don't think anybody on the Celtics is a disappointment because the Celtics, they really didn't have to do much to win the series.
Yeah.
I mean, they won it in 4, which I think is a more of a surprise. I thought they would have at least lost the game because that Pacers team is a hard-nosed, good defensive fighting team, and they showed that after Oladipo
They
went
play
down.
well defense.
Right. After Oladipo went down. But the Celtics kind of went into it, and, you know, they have the second best head coach and future best head coach in basketball in Brad Stevens. And I think Brad Stevens was a big part of their mentality going into the playoffs where, hey, we're going to score. We have too many options not to. Let's go in and play fucking lights out defense against the Pacers. That's what we're going to do. If we can keep the Pacers under 90 points, they can't beat us.
Yeah.
And they can't. Because there's just too many playmakers like the 76ers, like Golden State, like the Bucks. There's too many playmakers on that Celtics team that somebody won't go off. Somebody's going to drop 25 to 30 points a game for them. Or they're all going to drop 18 to 20 which is equally as damaging.
Yeah.
So it's just I think they went in with the right mentality, and they just were like, we're going to make them miss. We're not going to try to score. We're going to make sure they don't.
Quite at the naysayers too. I mean, I actually had doubts. I was hoping they would lose, but
Why? Why do you hate the Celtics?
I hate all Boston sports. But
That's not true.
Yes, it's
You
true.
love Tom Brady.
Incorrect.
That's not.
but-
Mass has been trying to say a name for a while now.
I'm sorry.
No. Keep going, and then I'll say.
Well,
it.
I was just going to say that though it was a sweep, it was actually probably one of the best series because of the closeness of the scores.
So you were saying something you love Tom Brady?
Incorrect.
That's what I heard. We should make him get an "I love Tom Brady" tattoo.
When I already got Robert Kraft's face on his ass
That's true.
and the prostitutes.
That's just
It's a
impressive.
collection. I got Miami Vice and then it's Kraft in the front.
Miami Vice.
All right, Mass, spit your name.
No, I'm
Nikola.
sorry.
Nikola. How do I say it?
Jokic.
Vucevic. Given that he plays on the Magic,
It's so funny when Kyle called him a half a star. It's so funny.
I'm sorry. What?
Ah,
All right, different story. He's got his first All-Star now this year, but his playoff appearance has been lacking. I mean, he did nothing in their win against Toronto. I mean, he's playing against Gasol and Ibaka, so I get he has a little bit of competition to go
and
against.
Spicy P. Playing
And
more
Spicy
against
P.
Spicy P.
And Spicy P. But
The thing with Vucevic is that I disagree on the disappointment stage only because Vucevic is not
soft ass big man.
okay. Well, he's that. But Vucevic is also he's not the guy you build a team around. Vucevic is more like he belongs more on like a 76ers type of team, like a team where there's options and he can be one of those options
But you still
instead of being the options. He's not a James Harden. He's like a less impressive Jokic.
But you still
He's like a
expect,
nurture.
What's up, Eric?
you still expect him to do better than 12.5 points a game.
No, I don't.
No.
Well, take that, Mass.
I don't have enough knowledge to refute that.
Does
so-
anybody else have anything to weigh in on these NBA playoffs before we move on?
I do
Souls?
not.
I think we said
Does what you had as a previous NBA Finals matchup change thus far after seeing how this first round's playing out?
no.
You saw
Did
Bucks.
you have?
You saw Bucks Warriors. Souls.
Yep.
Mock, do you still have Bucks Warriors?
Yes.
Red Baron, do you still have Bucks Houston?
I do.
Mass, do you still have Magic Jazz?
Yes.
You're in for a rough.
Is that really what he said?
No. He said Pels Raptors.
He's
All right.
a Raptors fan.
Pels.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the NBA is just going to burn down. They're going to cancel the finals. So
Anyways, You can take a
Hashtag
shot for that.
AAF.
yes,
Yeah, you have a little red plastic cup over there?
Doesn't change mine.
What was yours again?
Let me take that from
Blazers
you.
Sixers.
Hey, holding true.
I picked that one because Kyle, he'll be upset for a minute, but once he realizes that if the Sixers do in fact lose, once he realizes that Dame's the guy hoisting the trophy, he'll be like, all right, I'm okay with
as long
it.
as they give Brandon Roy a ring too,
No,
he deserves one.
he doesn't.
He should have won one.
No,
He was good.
you fucking suck.
You like Brandon Roy?
This is
Monte
not
Ellis or nothing.
this isn't a talking point, but you guys should go back and listen to the stuff we said about the AAF. We sound like a bunch of jerks.
We were
the
pretty
NBA
excited.
or the NFL is going to buy into them so hard. It's
we
gonna be
were
incredible.
really
Great.
excited.
But I think everybody was really excited.
Right.
But the thing was,
Salt Lake Stallions.
But the thing was,
Birmingham Iron.
It didn't disband because it was a bad product. It disbanded because they spent all their money too
Right,
fast,
yeah.
See
and they
what-
had no financial backing.
See, that was the problem. It was so rushed that there was no promotion for it. It was just like, hey, it's here. Here you go.
No, it's not that. They didn't get a TV deal.
That's what I mean. Like they didn't
The
take the
XFL's already
time.
got TV deals.
That's what I mean.
They're going to stream on the WWE network.
Are they really?
Probably. Why
Probably.
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like the XFL is taking, it's already been
I
a
think they'll charge
year,
more.
so it's going to be 3 years before they launch. The AAF was just like,
Who, the XFL?
yes,
The XFL's going in next year.
I know, but they announced it. Was it a year or 2 years ago? It's been
They announced
being
it.
talked
they
about
announced
for a while
it,
ago.
they announced it at the end of the beginning of this offseason.
No, they talked about it last year.
No, they talked about it, the possibility of it coming back, and that
They were
were-
saying 2020, and that was early 28. So it's been 2 years. But even still,
Did you get into the former XFL players come back?
Bill Goldberg,
like they've been taking the time to
Nelly.
set it up. The AAF was just like, hey, here we are. There you go.
The NFL is totally going to buy into us.
The AFL, the AAF, they burned through their capital too fast. It was something that no normal fan outside of the NFL business would have seen because, yeah, we knew it cost a lot of money to run, but we don't know how deep these people's pockets were and what financial backings they had. They don't fucking work for Wall Street.
Who was it? Was it the owner of the Hurricanes that bailed him out?
Who, Greg Helms?
Stink.
It was. I think it was the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
That gave him like $250 million, and then
And
like
he
a
was
month
like,
later
"Nah,
they
bro."
still went out.
Oh
All right.
well.
Let's move on to some Riddler's rankings.
Who do you got
Hmm.
this week?
Riddler's rankings, it's been a long time. If you remember from weeks ago, Riddler's rankings was going around the country, ranking the best athletes of every city. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So today, we're taking a stop in a city near and dear to someone on this panel's heart.
We're going to Baltimore.
We're going to Philadelphia.
Excuse me if you would. Go fuck yourself. Proceed.
Excuse me.
Number
If you
one,
would.
Jordana. Number two, the cheesesteak. Number three, Jordana eating a cheesesteak. Number four, Jordana in a cheesesteak.
Ooh.
Number five, a cheesesteak.
Jordana's cheesesteak. Dun, 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 dun. Executive producer Dick Wolf.
It's leaking
Great
out
rankings.
cheese.
All right, so Riddler's rankings. So got a couple honorable mentions. This one we just have to do it in case he's listening, even though I know he's not. Pete Rose, honorable mention.
He could be.
No, he was way more notable as a Red.
No, I mean like he could be listening.
Who, Bob?
No, he's in bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking about Pete Rose. Like
He is listening.
That's Pete Rose.
I met
He was our
Rose
first
once.
subscriber.
Pete Rose is wearing a backwards green hat and sitting to your right.
I should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be.
Well, sorry, Pete.
So some honorable mentions. Allen Iverson. Moses Malone.
Doesn't even crack the list. Wow.
Moses Malone. Charles Barkley.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Brian Dawkins.
I like where this is heading.
Claude Giroux. Gritty. Ben Franklin, aka the Mass.
Nice.
Is Rocky Balboa going to be on this list?
Nah, he's not honorable mention though.
It's great. It's great.
Let's say Jimmy Rollins is an honorable mention.
Nah.
Jimmy Rollins.
Okay.
All right. So let's crack it down. Number 5. Reggie White. Defensive end, Philadelphia Eagles. The second all-time in sacks? Or is he first? No, he's not first.
Second.
Second all-time in sacks, right? Yeah.
Bruce Smith.
Bruce
number
Smith's
one.
first, yeah. Number 4. One of the greatest hockey players ever, Bobby Clark. Look up a picture of Bobby Clark, gentlemen. Everyone, I want you to see his smile. There's not a lot of white stuff in there. Number 3, Julius Irving.
Dr. J.
Mm-hmm.
Professor J.
He has
Every time I hear Dr. J, I think of Rob Schneider and Grown Ups. Dr. J is still alive. Yeah, but those types of guys.
he has no teeth.
You know, he's got them. He's just got no front teeth.
Chessboard.
He's missing all the teeth in between his vampire teeth.
Here, there you go. That's the best
Yeah.
picture.
Number 2, Mike Schmidt. And
Number 1, Bryce Harper.
No, Aaron Nola.
Not this year.
Pat Neshek, though. No, number 1, the woman banging, 100-point scoring, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Yeah.
Steve Carlton.
Oh,
even
no.
Honorable mention.
Oh, and Steve Carlton was on. Yeah. It was on there somewhere.
He should be.
There's a lot of names, Kyle. Fuck off, right, dude? Jesus.
I'm happy with that list. I thought it was pretty concise.
Fuck Brian Dawkins. This guy sucked. Shouldn't have been in the Hall of Fame.
Can I
Oh,
put
Terrell
notice?
Owens also honorable mention.
He played like 3 years there, 3 or 4.
LaShawn McCoy, too.
No McNabb? No love for McNabb?
Nah.
No Big Dick Nick.
I tell you,
The guy's fat.
I was reading a thing on Reddit today. Philly fans hate McNabb.
Oh, it's so great.
They hate
Players hate him too.
because I guess he just like rips on the franchise all
Yeah,
the
but
time.
you know who else the Philly fans hate? Santa. So it's like, that's what your basis is.
Throwing
point.
beer bottles at Santa.
I don't hate Santa.
Philly fans are the worst.
You're not an Eagles fan. Mock, though, diehard Eagles fan.
Ugh.
He loves the Philadelphia Cowboys.
Would you rather cheer for the Philadelphia Eagles or the New England Patriots?
Eagle, because he drafts them all the time.
Mock
Wow,
hates
no
the
response.
Patriots more than he hates anybody in his division.
I don't know. I hate the Cowboys so much.
I would love a Cowboys Patriots Super Bowl.
That when that almost happened, a few
Nobody
years
would
ago,
watch it except for those fans.
I'd watch it.
I would still watch it, but I'd just root for
The entire
injuries.
stadium to blow up.
Just be like, oh, God.
Terrorism. Let's go.
You got to root for the Cowboys because then they could be tied at
Mock's got a Super
Bowls
Bowl
apiece.
square. Mock's got a Super Bowl square. All right, second quarter ISIS. Let's do it.
I don't know what I would do if that was ever the Super Bowl. I couldn't go to a Super Bowl party. I would have to like watch it in the dark.
What's the worst imaginable
Watch it with
Super
me.
Bowl for you guys? Obviously, we know Mox. Mass, what's your worst imaginable Super Bowl right now? Like
One that
next
the
year.
Rams are in because he hates
Next
them.
year,
Yeah, right.
the Seahawks and
The Jets just hates the Jets.
I know the Red Barons. I don't know Souls though.
I don't know who can I come back around for my AFC team?
No. You don't know the AFC team you dislike the most?
No, I really don't.
All right,
Probably the Bengals.
I can respect that.
that's not fair.
You hate the Bengals.
You're gonna
It's,
hate.
it's,
You're,
it's not the
the
Bengals
team you
that
hate the most to go to the Super Bowl is a team that's never won a playoff game.
it's not that I hate the Bengals. It's just I wouldn't give a shit if they were in the Super Bowl.
I think the Red Barons is Patriots Packers.
You know, it's like tied Patriots, Packers, Patriots, Cowboys.
Do you hate the Packers as much as you hate the Cowboys?
Well,
Do you hate the Packers?
On a historical note, I hate the Cowboys, but the Packers are just the Patriots of the NFC.
Matt, who's your second least favorite NFC team? 49ers?
Yeah, probably.
All right, so let's just flash back to 2000. We'll make it 49ers Seahawks.
All right, there you go.
2000? Were they an NFC team in 2000?
Who the
Seahawks?
No, and it was like the 90s before they swapped.
All right, so we'll go back to like 1990.
All right,
There you go. 49ers Seahawks Super Bowl.
perfect.
Souls?
That could have been a thing, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Cowboys,
cool
Ravens.
choices.
Cowboys Ravens?
That would just be boring and suck. And I'd root for no one.
One thing I'm always curious about is Kyle's not disdain for the Patriots like mine.
Because
Yeah.
I respect the fuck out of Tom Brady.
Well, I don't disrespect him, but
You kind of do.
You kind of do.
I
The
disrespect
fact-
the whole
you know-
franchise.
You know what's You know why you disrespect Tom Brady?
Why is
Because you
that?
just tried to find a way that wasn't mean to say you don't respect Tom Brady. He's like, I respect the fuck out of Tom Brady. And you're like, I don't disrespect him.
Why?
So you're just like neutral on him?
Like he's a great quarterback. You know, perhaps the greatest
Just
of all
suck his dick
time.
already.
The point I'm making
Kiss
is
his kids.
Kyle watched the same losses that I watched to the Patriots.
You're right.
Via being a Steelers fan, and he doesn't have the disdain
You're
like
right.
I do.
Because the Ravens are far worse.
Kyle, they are pretty much equal. We just play the Ravens twice a year.
And therefore, that's
If
why I
you
hate
think-
them.
Well, hold
the-
on. For a long time, you played the Patriots twice a year. Just lost both
When,
those games.
back when it was the three divisions, got dark times. And
No, I'm talking about you played them as the 1 seed matchups, and then you played them in the AFC Championship game.
True. This is true.
Dick.
Usually there's
Yeah,
like a
Dick Vermeil.
decisive fumble.
Want to ring with the Rams?
Super Bowl games.
Yeah, so that's the line. But
Texans Packers.
I don't like the Texans.
Yeah, I
really?
fucking hate the
No, that's
Texans.
a
Why?
Really?
Because the Texans aren't good. They're not a good football team.
But I mean, of all AFC teams, you hate the Texans the most?
The youngest of the AFC teams just hates them.
Well, considering he's a fan of the oldest team.
Yeah, I have a reason. I have a reason. I have a reason, but it's embarrassing.
Let's hear it.
You don't have to do it.
He has to do it. Shut the fuck up.
Andre Johnson kicked him in the nuts.
Even though it's only a small.
Hey, what's up,
sample size,
Nick?
The Bears have never beat the Texans.
Really?
A storied franchise like the Chicago Bears have a goose egg in the win column against a team.
How many times
Is
they
it
faced
the
off?
only
I don't
team
know,
that
probably
they
like
have a
what,
goose
like
egg?
4.
Probably like
But it
4 or 5
doesn't
times.
matter. Like the Texans, at least one of them, Schwab, was under center. So
If not him, it was David Carr.
Could have been Osweiler. When they play
Yeah,
last.
Brock
Osweiler's
Osweiler.
actually undefeated against the Bears.
Is he
Osweiler's
really?
never lost to
Yeah.
the Bears.
He beat them that game in Miami.
Thanks. Remember when you guys were handed the NFC Championship game
Yeah.
against the and then you fucking lost the Super
Yeah, I
Bowl?
Here's some quick salt in the wound. There we are.
Yeah.
Remember when you guys could have kept Jerome Bettis?
Yeah.
Thank
Goes
you.
all the way back to they've played 4 times: 2004, 8, 12, and 16.
Fucking suck. Fuck the Bears. Start mashing my team.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I'm a diehard fan, but they're just terrible.
You're gonna lose the Super Bowl.
Well,
All right. What would be your favorite Super Bowl matchup, not counting your team? Kyle's is going to be Lions Colts.
Yeah.
I think mine would be Colts Seahawks.
Ew.
He's a big Russell Wilson dick rider.
I've always kind of
It's just
liked
because
the
you want to
Seahawks.
suck Sierra's dick. We know.
But even when I was young, I always liked the Seahawks logo, and like their jerseys always looked cool and mad.
No. They used to look cool. Now they look like trash.
Yes.
I like
Yeah, we're a neon sign. Look at us. The old
like
school
them.
jerseys were the best, especially when before the Seahawk went all the way around.
yeah.
That was the best. The Sean Alexander jerseys, the Joey Galloway jerseys. You kids don't even know who Joey Galloway is.
Who's Joey Galloway?
Exactly.
Oh my God, Mash.
I
Even
don't
Mock
know.
doesn't know who Joey Galloway is.
I know the name.
That was unstoppable in Madden 03.
I know what college you went to, too.
Of course you
Greg
do,
Jennings.
Kyle. Mass, what's yours?
Can I? So since we went back for the Niners Seahawks, can I go
No,
back
no.
1 year? Last year. Just last year.
It's what, last year's Super Bowl?
Yeah. If I no. If
Do
I
you
could
want Patriots Rams again?
no. If I
No.
could change it up, I'd love to have seen the Bears play the Chiefs. That would have been a great Super Bowl.
So that could be your favorite Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't understand why we
that
had
can happen anytime.
He wants that Bears defense against that Chiefs.
Oh,
offense.
I understand. Okay.
That would have been great.
I'm talking about like what's your favorite non-Rams NFC team?
I actually like a lot of the NFC teams.
You're just terrible, Mass. What's yours?
Bills Bears.
This guy gets it.
Bills Bears in the bowl.
That's right.
A lot of bees.
That'll be blah, 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 blah.
Bills.
Colts
Mafia.
Lions in the can.
That's where you'll be watching. Redskins Chargers. Really?
Redskins
Wow.
are my second favorite NFC team.
I didn't-
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the Redskins are always the team in the beginning of every single year. It's like, they're going to fucking suck. And guess who's always knocking on the playoff door come the end of the season? The fucking Redskins. It never matters. They always find a way to knock on that goddamn playoff door from the NFC East. It doesn't matter how good the other teams are, how shitty the other teams are. Fucking 2 broken legs, and they weren't out of it till week 16. The Redskins always fucking find a way to knock on the door for the playoffs. They don't always make it, but they always find a way to knock on that door. They have a lot of heart. They have a lot of grit. Any team that exploits Native Americans, I'm all about it. Hashtag Blackhawks.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
Cardinals Browns.
Get the fuck out of here.
So your favorite NFC team is a division opponent.
I love the Cardinals. They're like the little brother that just like
You're the
pisses-
worst sports fan ever.
Matt, let me break this down for you. This is the way you should really think about your division, okay? No, I really want you to understand this.
Okay.
I would rather see Tom Brady win the next 40 Super
You
Bowls.
don't hate Tom Brady though.
I'd rather see the Joe Flacco-led Ravens
Come on, man.
win the next 40. Yeah, but I hate them is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Rather
Win the
see Terrell
next
Suggs.
40 Super Bowls
We cool. We cool.
than to see any other NFC North team win a game. Win a game.
Do you mean that about the Lions?
Fuck the Lions.
Nah, you don't hate them.
I do, guys.
They're not the worst.
You can't hate the
They're my
Lions.
third least favorite team.
Yeah, but it's not the worst.
No.
You'd rather have them have 4 wins.
No. I don't have any.
Yeah, because they could beat
So-
the Packers and the Vikings.
No, I want them all to tie. I want them all to tie 0-0.
0-0-6.
I want a lot of like interceptions, fumbled at the 1 yard line,
I
blocked
can't-
field goal.
I can't bring myself to hate the Cardinals for whatever reason. I despise the fucking Seahawks and Niners.
So I kind of like. So here's the thing: we're gonna go to break now because this whole conversation, I forgot to write the bracket down. I need to do that. So we're gonna take a break now. We're gonna go to break for 3-ish minutes. Let the boys piss and urine and re up on beers, do whatever they got to do. When we come back, we're gonna have a quick bracket break. Twitter poll. No Twitter poll.
No, I didn't get one this week.
All right, well, what if you poll us? Come up with a question on the break
Okay.
and poll us on it. Something good. Get the mock gears turning. I want something really good, sports related, but can be sexual. And we're also going to dive into some mock draft type of stuff and Red Baron's Runaway. Yep. So we'll be back in 3 minutes, 180 seconds on the PPRN Radio Network.
Spanky.
That's not true.
Kyle, did you hear about the monorail?
Europe.
She also just said Europe. I know she did.
My favorite little rascal is definitely buckwheat.
Yeah, buckwheat's the best. It's detrimental we have this stool to rest our feet on right now, as Rebecca ruins the show with her.
Yeah, nothing like waiting till we're live back on the show.
You had
She's so pale with this henna. It looks like she has like leprosy coming on or something like that.
That's a rash.
It's Scabs. That's gonna be her nickname, Scabs.
Scab Sanderson.
Dumb.
We're back in the final hour. Getting Sports and Drunk on the PPRN Radio Network, and
We have fun here.
it's time for a bracket break.
Ooh,
Mock's favorite.
yeah.
You like these, don't you?
I do. I like these a lot.
All right, so today's bracket is
Bricato.
I can't wait till I can pick a region.
top 16 individual single season performances. So like single season records, 4 from each of the 4 major sports. And they were broken down like, you know, a number 1 seed from each sport all the way through a number 4 seed from each sport. So Maxine, since you're so excited, would you like to pick a quadrant? We don't have regions today. We have quadrants.
Okay.
So you can either go top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right.
I don't get to pick the sport.
No, they're not by sport.
Oh, okay.
So each sport has a 1 seed, and
I
each
gotcha.
sport has a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
I got you.
So all 4 sports are offered in each quadrant. So if you'd like, I can give you which quadrant number 1 seed sports are.
Top right.
Top right. Okay. All right. So we have the where's my marker? So we have the number what? Like a marker thing?
No, I want to ask Kyle, what kind of football fan would go see a movie instead of watching the draft?
So Bob was harping on that before I left. He's like, make sure you bring that up on the air. I'm
Kyle,
good.
you better not bail on me.
My team. Kyle's flaking out.
I would be so
It
mad.
doesn't
if you
matter.
bailed.
Kyle's gonna flake out on us, and he's not gonna go to the movie. And then the best part is Walker's gonna bust his balls all week about like what kind of football fan doesn't want. And then when he flakes on us, she's gonna be like, "You're a real shitty friend, Kyle."
He knows it.
That's gonna be so great. It's gonna be me, Mock, and Amelia seeing the Avengers.
And we're both gonna fall
I'm
asleep.
not gonna lie though.
No, Amelia will be
The
awake.
phone
till-
updates will be on.
That's what I mean. Me and you. Amelia will be awake.
Oh yeah. All right. So top right quadrant, number 1 seed from the NBA, Mark Eaton, with his 1984-85 season single season record of 456 blocks in a season. That's a lot of blocks. Just so you guys know, for the non-NBA fans here, almost all of you, he averaged over 5.5 blocks a game.
Yeah,
See
it's
what she
pretty
said?
insane.
See what she said?
No,
She says, "You don't know me, Paul."
I know you. I know you. And then versus the number 4 seed from the NHL, Dave Schultz, with a career high single season record of 472 penalty minutes in a season.
That's a
Front runner.
That's a way more fun stat.
So I don't know how you guys want to vote on these. You want to vote on like wow factor, fun, like unbreakability?
I think it should be up to you.
All
to decide how they
encompassing.
vote.
Yeah, so just how you vote.
That's a really good head to head though. Like lead off because I want to do the blocks because that's incredible, but penalty minutes that's also.
Here's the thing: neither record will be touched. Nobody has come even close to those penalty minutes at all. And we're going on 40 or almost 50 years of that.
Yeah,
that record, and no one's come close. No one's touching the block record.
I'm going Mark Eaton.
All right, Maxine.
Eaton.
Penalty minutes is just too funny for me to pass up.
I gotta go with the penalty minutes.
I gotta go with blocks.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm very impressed by. We play a lot of in the summertime. The group here we play a lot of 21, and I get really excited when I get 1 block a game. So,
I'm excited when I get
a
to
summer.
It's usually at me.
All right, the number 2
I get
seed.
Jeff sometimes.
The number 2 seed MLB. He gets a lot of steals for me because I try to ball handle and I can't, and he doesn't know how to steal. He just flails his limbs.
Paul is me playing basketball perfected.
The number 2 seed MLB, Nolan Ryan's 383 strikeouts in a single season, versus the number 3 seed NFL, LaDainian Tomlinson's 28 rushing touchdowns in a season.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Wow.
Yeah, don't even answer otherwise.
Kyle?
Nolan Ryan.
Oh my god.
I think mine's Nolan Ryan.
You tell me Nolan Ryan's again, please.
383 strikeouts in a single season versus 28 rushing touchdowns in a single season.
28 rushing touchdowns.
I'm going to go with LaDainian Tomlinson.
I'm also going to go with Nolan Ryan.
You guys are the worst.
But here, you got to figure.
Yes, I understand, and I acknowledge the fact of it's an insane amount of strikeouts. And Nolan Ryan, obviously, no schmuck. Unless
Well,
we
maybe
see
kind
a
of a schmuck.
huge change in football philosophy moving forward, I don't think we'll ever see that stat again. And I'm grateful.
It'll
because,
change back.
I
The
hope
NFL
so.
will go. The NFL
I
at one point,
certainly hope so.
the
But I'll
NFL
be
at one
waiting.
point was more pass happy than rush happy. It's just it didn't have the receiving stars it does now. Eventually, what's going to happen is there's the big receiving stars. There's not going to be as many as there are right now, and there's going to be running backs that are going to get underutilized that are going to become big. I mean, look at it right now. You got Barkley, Elliott, the guy from the Bengals there, Mixon. Howard is no slouch when he's utilized correctly.
What's up, Ryan?
But like McCoy still has gas in his tank. You know, all these guys. Bell. You know, you can't say Bell's going to be a bust. You know, Connor though. I mean, there's a lot of players out there.
I certainly hope so.
All right,
I'd like to see the
moving
stat.
on. Red Baron,
Come on,
pick a bracket. LT sucks. Get
not
over it.
Incorrect. What was that quadrant before?
He picked upper right.
Bottom left.
All right, bottom left. All right. We have the number 1 seed NFL. Eric Dickerson's rushing yards in a season 2105 versus the number 4 seed MLB Ichiro Suzuki's 262 hits in a single season.
Ichiro.
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 You guys are all wrong.
Dickerson's record was almost broken already.
Dickerson's record was almost broken several times and still hasn't been broken by running backs better than Ichiro's record is still new. D. Gordon could break that record. And I'm just saying, D. Gordon can break that record.
Absolutely.
And other players down the stretch will be able to break that record for hits. A fast, good hitting. If Billy Hamilton could hit like Jose Altuve, would he break that record?
Yeah, but he can't.
But that's not what I'm saying, though. But you get a guy who can hit the ball, who's fast, he'll be able to break that record. How many times have we seen somebody on the watch, week 15, this guy's getting close to Eric Dickerson's record? Nobody ever does it.
You're right. But also 262, especially with that baseball played today, where it's a power hitting league.
But people have come close since 2004.
Yeah, but just recently it's changed over to just home runs.
Yeah, not just recently. You don't even watch baseball.
3 or 4
Number
years.
2 seed, NHL Paul Kofi's goals by a defenseman in a season, 48, which for those of you who don't know hockey, which is all of you, the 40 goal mark in the NHL is
I
pretty
understand.
fucking good.
I
Now,
scored like
what's
100.
hockey again?
Versus the number 3 seed NBA LA Lakers winning streak of 33 straight wins.
Defenseman goals.
I'm going to go LA.
Defenseman goals.
Goals.
Nice. I'm not going to vote. I don't have to. I guess I'll suck.
I'm
Souls,
gonna
pick
go
a
with
quadrant.
LA.
Souls, pick a quadrant.
Bottom right.
Bottom right. Right. The number 1 seed, Wayne Gretzky's points in a season with 215.
That
one.
Moving on.
Hold on. Versus the number 4 seed, Chicago Bears points allowed in the season with 42.
Gretzky.
Gretzky.
That is a good one. I give it to Gretzky.
Even if you inflate that to today's NFL standards, though, they only allowed 3.2 games, 3.2 points a game.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just Wayne.
Said the kid will break it.
Probably not.
Riddler, I give you a lot of credit because these are really good head-to-head like decision making. I'm torn.
All right, number 2 seed, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain's
What's going on, Michaela?
rebounds in a season with 2,149, an average of 27.2 rebounds a game.
Wow.
Versus the number 3 seed, Ricky Henderson's 130 stolen bases in a season.
Well,
Oof.
Ricky Henderson.
I too say Ricky Henderson.
No one's touching that ever. It's impossible.
Get me in the league.
I was going to say, have you seen Mock's tape?
He doesn't go for rebounds. He goes for ball taps and assists.
Whoa, there's a side B to that disc.
Mass, you're the last one standing. Mass, pick a quadrant.
What's the one that's
Oh,
left?
come on.
There you go. All right. So the number 1 seed MLB season accomplishment. Hugh Duffy with a season total batting average of 440 versus the NBA's Jose Calderon's free throw percentage of 98.3.
Hugh.
See, I need more information on that batting average. So I'm saying free throw percentage.
Good. What do you need on Hugh?
Well, I mean, like how many at bats? I mean, did he go?
He played a full season.
But I mean,
He played a full season, even if it's one at bat.
I know, but I mean, I'd like to know how
If
many
he batted
at-bats.
440 with 100 at bats.
They obviously wouldn't have it as a record if it wasn't the right amount of bats.
It's a fair point. Free throw shot.
All right, and then the number 2 NFL seed,
Hey, Michaela.
Night Train Lane's 14 interceptions in a season versus the number 3 seed NHL George Hainsworth's 22 shutouts in a season.
Night Train Lane.
Kyle was about to say that, and then he was like, 22 shutouts is a
I'm
lot.
gonna go with the shutouts.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the two?
22 shutouts by a hockey goalie versus 14 interceptions by a defensive back in the NFL.
With how many games?
What?
You did that in like a 12-game season.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't
It
16
was
games.
14.
It was,
That
it
was
was about
14?
14.
22 shutouts.
Okay, 22 shutouts and 40 starts. That's how many games he started.
Shutouts.
I got to get the shutouts.
Shutouts.
Played half the season. Good guy.
All right.
I think the interceptions could happen like any time. It just hasn't.
All right,
It hasn't happened since the 40s.
Hey,
We've
What?
had a lot of 9, 10 interception guys. It could happen.
Yeah, but he also, first of all, it's the 50s, so go ahead and enjoy that iced tea over there.
I really don't want to.
Come
Oh, well.
on.
And
I'll
then
do one
on
with
top
you.
of it too. He played at a time where, like,
Round
if
the
a
horn?
team had one good receiver, they
Round the
were they had the best receiver. This isn't really an around the horn thing anymore. This is more like a mock start pouring thing.
mock start porn thing.
Yeah.
He said it.
I'm going to give one to Reed over there.
I'd like one, yes.
All right,
Paul's
so
got to do one.
It could be like New Jersey. You got to pump your own shot over there.
you
This
can't
thing
pump
takes
your own
forever.
shot. You can't pump your own shot in New Jersey.
Well, I meant that he would be the guy, the attendant.
He looks like he could be a gas station attendant.
Yeah.
So,
Rebecca,
number 1 seed Mark Eaton's 456 blocks in a season versus the number 2 seed Nolan Ryan's 383 strikeouts.
say the first one again.
Mark Eaton's blocks, Nolan Ryan's strikeouts.
Mark Eaton.
Strikeouts.
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 Blocks.
Strikeouts is gonna happen by tomorrow.
The thing is 5.5 blocks. When's the last time we saw someone average 3.5?
What team did Mark Eaton play for?
Mark Eaton. A team that moved. It was the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you credit, but get the hell out of here.
What was the team?
Vancouver was one, and then he also played for Utah for a lot of his career.
What? That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't.
You're right.
All right, number 2, Wilt Chamberlain's 2,149 rebounds in a season versus Wayne Gretzky's 215 points in a season.
Oh,
Wayne.
Wayne.
Doesn't matter, man. Number 4 seed Ichiro's 262 hits in the season versus number 2 Paul Kofi's 48 goals by a defenseman.
Ichiro.
Ichiro.
Kofi.
goals.
It comes down to this.
Here's some food for thought on this. He did this in the 1985-1986 season. We have seen over the past 15 years a lot of offensive-driven defensemen in the NHL, like PK Subban's and Shea Weber's, even the Zdeno Chara's. None of them are even in the list for the top goal scored by defenseman this season.
I'm going to go goals just because I think there will come a player who's going to play in the MLB for a longevity and be successful there. For the
Well, no,
amount of
this is
time.
but that's single season for
Yeah.
you.
Right.
So,
Okay, I guess
what
that's
are
what
you
I'm
getting at?
I'm saying that I think it's attainable for an
God,
MLB.
it's so aggressive.
I don't. All right, whatever.
Well,
right.
we're talking about
20
less games at the time.
22 hockey shutouts in a season versus a 440 batting average.
440.
440.
22 shutouts.
Shutouts.
Batting average.
That will never be touched again.
We doing this shot or?
Yeah.
That's the end of the bracket.
All right, end of the bracket.
Duffy's 440 batting average versus the goals by a defenseman.
Batting average.
Batting average.
Batting average.
Nolan Ryan strikeouts versus Wayne Gretzky's points in a season.
Wayne.
Wayne. Newton.
Wayne versus all right. So points in a season by Wayne versus batting average.
Wayne.
Wayne.
This just goes to show you even more how Wayne Gretzky will always be. Goat. Guys don't even fucking know hockey, and
still wins.
more baseball fans here, and fucking love Wayne.
break.
Here we go. Shoot it.
To Wayne.
Guy's so good.
All right.
Yeah,
So
he was a pretty good hockey player.
Yeah, his numbers retired across the league.
So broke all
Was it
his
really?
records though.
Yeah, nobody can wear 99.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty awesome number too.
Did you know that Wayne Gretzky also? Fun fact about Wayne Gretzky. So Wayne Gretzky always played with part of his jersey untucked, out of his shorts. It wasn't because that was his style of play. It was because he had one leg a little longer than the other, and so his jerseys he had a custom made that way, so the other one always came untucked.
Didn't know that.
Machine, do you have a GSWD poll?
Oh shit!
You didn't come up with a question, you piece of shit. All right, so
Who's getting drafted number 1 overall this year's NFL draft?
no, we're gonna do something really fun here. We're gonna do something off the beaten path here. I want Mock to do something with this Twitter poll. Or actually, you know what we'll do? Mock, we'll save your thing for the end, so you have time.
All right.
Is Red Baron's Runaway ready?
It's ready.
So why don't you introduce us to Red Baron's? Well, I'll introduce Red Baron's Runaway, and we'll go from there. So Red Baron's Runaway was a topic that the Baus Souls over there came up with myself as well, and it is a new Red Baron segment. You're the only one that's not had a segment, on the show. And
Very clever
was-
name too, by the way.
well, you know, you're a famous aviation pilot. I like to think that you're the Snoopy Red Baron instead of the actual.
Yeah.
Or the Scooby Doo one.
Or the guy in your freezer.
Yeah, but not the war guy. You're either gonna be Snoopy or pizza.
Yeah.
And you could be both. But so today's is gonna be geared towards the MLB.
Yep.
And so Red Baron's Runaway is going to be MLB players taking off or landing. So you're taking off are players getting hot, and your landings are players that have cooled down since the start of the season. So Red Baron, take us away.
So today I have a group here of players who are gaining altitude, as it were. And I kind of put a combination.
Someone put the pump over there.
Since the season is somewhat young, I kind of combined players where they are right now and players who had a pretty good week. The first guy on the list is from the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's Christian Yelich. He leads the entire league in home runs.
Guy's never going to win an MVP.
with 13 home runs as well as 31 RBIs. Certain camps who are fans would consider him pretty darn good. Also, someone who's coming off a pretty big week and a big season so far in general from the Los Angeles Dodgers, not the Dollars, the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is getting sports with drunk after all. Is Cody Bellinger. He leads in a lot of categories. He totes a 424 batting average with an 882 slugging percentage with 36 hits, 26 runs scored, and 75 total bases so far in the year. As far as pitching goes, Pittsburgh's Joe Musgrove, he touts a 0.81 ERA with a 1-1 record. So good for him, though. The Pirates have a bright spot on
They're in first
the
place
season.
now.
Yeah, you know, and actually kind of a surprise. Not a team I would have picked, especially.
Won't stay there. But
Well, right, but hey, listen, 2 weeks in, whatever, you know, good for them. A big week for Felipe Vasquez, also in a Pirate. 9 saves on the year, 2 this week. Still holding a 0 ERA for a closer reliever with 18 strikeouts. And then a big week for the Twins' Eddie Rosario. 6 home runs he's coming off of this week, touting a 663 slugging percentage with an OPS of 1.068. So those are my players who are gaining altitude this far. my players hitting turbulence so far. I don't have a big list. Most of them are actually pitchers. Chris Sale jumping out to an 0-4 season so far with an 8.50 ERA. Kind of not the Chris Sale we know. He's kind of jumped out 2 slow starts in the past, but nothing like that we've seen thus far. I personally, I think he'll turn it around, but this is kind of surprising. I hope that it's not kind of what we're looking at moving forward, but there is some concern to be had for him. As a unit, hitting turbulence are the Yankees. Fortunately, injury, it can plague a team, and it's no fault of the team. Injuries happen. The Mets have been known, so the Yankees looking a lot like the Mets thus far, and not escaping the turbulence list are Mets pitching, especially starting pitching. Have not jumped out to expectations. DeGrom suffering some injury and kind of a slow start. Had a good first 2 starts.
DeGrom pitching on Friday.
A lot of good first 2 starts. He's actually averaging 14 strikeouts a start, which is pretty impressive in 2 starts, I believe it is. But Syndergaard has been slow. Matz has been slow. Vargas has just kind of been a shame.
He always is.
Well, you know what? He's a good, solid guy. But that's my Red Barons runway for this week.
Segment. I liked it. Did a lot of homework. I'm happy about that.
Thank you.
Breaking news: the Capitals surrendered 3 third-period goals to give the Hurricanes a Game 6 win, and now there's a winner-take-all Game 7 for the defending.
Let's go Whalers!
So
weird on this side.
For those of you that can see the footage, that watch religiously and know the seating arrangements, you'll notice that Maksheen is sitting all by himself. That's because he has uncontrollable gas.
Wait.
But with that aside, I have in my hand, we're going to do something different. I wanted to do this. I had something set up here for some mock draft discussion, because the draft is this weekend. That'll obviously be a big token on what we talk about next week. By that time, all 7 rounds of the NFL actual draft will be done. Mock draft submissions. Red Baron gave his. I already have.
You'll have my
Souls's.
I have it done.
The guy's got like 5.
I got like 13.
Red Baron, I did offer, just in case, if you want to come up with another mock draft where Kyler Murray doesn't go first overall, or do you want to just ride this for whatever happens?
I'm going to write it out because I think it's a bunch of hubbaloo.
All right.
Is that the saying? Hubbaloo?
So what we're going to do here is something very, very interesting. Instead of doing a actual draft discussion, I thought it would be a lot more interesting if we were to do Mass, Souls, and myself. No offense, Mock. A rapid fire draft.
Oh,
So we are going with no prep. I didn't do any prep either, so
no prep, no sound effects like last week.
can I at least pull up my big board?
nope. Everyone's gonna have the same advantage, and that advantage is nothing. What we're going to do
Use a
is
loo real quick.
Guys playing Kingdom Hearts over here.
Kyle's going to have more picks than anybody else, but that's just because of the nature of the way things are going to work here. I'm going to keep track of our drafts and add these to our mock draft thing just for fun, just shits and giggles to see what happens. The only thing that the Mass, myself, and Bow Souls are going to have is last week's mock draft that we did on the air between Maksheen Washable, the Mass, and Kyle Souls. The Bows. This will be placed in the middle. You may look at it when you guys have to pick.
You may not touch it.
The way this is going to work format-wise, we're going to do back-to-back picks for each person. Kyle will lead off with back-to-back picks. Then the Mass will pick back-to-back. Then I will pick back-to-back. And then it restarts. Kyle, Mass, Paul. Back-to-back picks. So there'll be 4 people picking in between yourself. No trades. It doesn't have to be like a number 1 pick here is Kyler Murray. All right, moving on. You have time for some mini explanations if you
Tell you what,
wish.
how much time you want? Give me that bell.
What, per pick?
Yeah.
All right, so you get, I'm trying to do the math in my head. If we did 30 seconds, times 32, 16 minutes. 16 minutes?
We in it.
That's
Perfect.
enough time. You got 30 seconds to make your pick and explain it. Nope, I'm throwing it, Mock.
Don't throw it.
Mock
Don't
catch.
throw it. No, don't throw it.
So, everybody on board?
Souls, you need to stop touching me.
Everybody on board?
Yeah, I'm good.
You have to just embrace him by touching him back.
All right.
I'm
Souls,
currently holding a whole sack of peanuts.
Souls is officially on the clock.
Pick is in.
No, we're not doing the music.
Oh. With the first pick in the overall draft, the Arizona Cardinals select defensive end Nick Bosa out of the University of The Ohio State University.
Oh boy, here we go.
And the Cardinals just recently said, hey, we're going to probably stick with Josh Rosen. I believe it. And I think they picked the best player in the draft, Nick Bosa. He's had good meetings and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Number 2 on the clock.
You're back to back.
Oh, anyway. So, pick is in.
Oh,
San
am
Francisco Giants. Fuck.
Private stock.
The San Francisco 49ers select defensive tackle Quentin Williams. They need a lot of help in the middle, and I believe that he's the guy to do it. Armstead's not big enough. They have Buckner on the outside. I think they need another guy to help him in the middle.
Pick number 3.
Pick number 3 is in. We are picking Josh Allen with the number 3 overall pick. New York really needs help all over the defense. They have a lot of interior pressure already. They need some stuff around the outside.
That works for both New York teams.
Coming from a guy that fucking playing Kingdom Hearts on the side of me.
4's on the clock.
Number 4, Raiders. Devin Bush.
White or Bush?
Devin White.
Okay.
Linebacker, LSU. Raiders can't afford to. They're both named Devin. I can't fucking keep it straight.
Except their last names.
Yes. Fuck 'em. Number 5's on the clock.
Well, you don't get to announce that. That's Mock's thing to announce. You
Number
bastard.
5's
five,
about
number
4
five.
seconds in.
Stock.
Whoa. I forget some of these guys' positions. I got to look this guy up.
That doesn't matter.
What
Rapid
position
fire.
does Montez Sweat
Sports.
play?
Defensive edge.
Defensive end.
All right. Tampa Bay selects Montez Sweat. They just need everything on defense. Anything they pick defensively is a good pick.
And an
The
R&B
New York
album.
Giants are on the clock at number 6. The New York Giants select Ed Oliver, defensive tackle. They need all kinds of help getting. They need all kinds of help getting the pass rush done. Anything defensively is really good, and he's a big monster inside.
I hate this pick. Moving on.
7 on the clock.
Jacksonville Cop.
They pick offensive tackle Juwan Taylor out of the University of Florida. They need a lot of help offensive line wise. They got to keep Nick Foles up. Let Leonard Fournette get some hold. They can run. Much needed pick there in Jacksonville.
8 on the clock.
Detroit. Fuck, you took my pick. I picked tight end TJ Hawkinson.
You took your own pick.
No, you took Montez Sweat.
Oh.
So you can't touch that. I think the Lions need a lot of help offensive weapon wise. They got rid of Golden Tate. They're missing it. Hawkinson can catch the deep ball. He blocks. He does all the little things right that you need from a tight end.
So Eric Ebron.
No, he's more of a Heath Miller.
Remember, you got a microphone there.
Yeah, fuck you.
It's radio.
Fuck you. Anyway, I think that's the perfect fit for Detroit. They need him. They need another weapon. They need a blocker. He fits all.
9
those
on the
things.
clock.
Buffalo Bills, Mass.
Buffalo Bills select Jonah Williams, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Number 10 is on the clock. Denver. Denver selects.
You're not going to give any reasoning. All right.
They need to protect their young quarterback.
Okay.
He's the best tackle in the draft.
All I needed to hear.
Number 10. Who's
Denver Broncos.
Not Drew Lock.
Dwayne Haskins,
Not Dwayne
Will
Haskins.
Greer.
Not Will Greer.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, quarterback.
Wow, this one's already wrong.
This draft is all over the place.
Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. Cincinnati Bengals take quarterback Dwayne Haskins.
Boy,
They need to find the replacement for Andy Dalton. They've proven that he's not the future there, especially with the exit of Marvin Lewis. They need to start the rebuild now while they have the option at a franchise quarterback.
12 is on.
All right. This one's fucking tough. The Green Bay Packers select Cody Ford. It's an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm trying to remember. They need anything to protect Aaron Rodgers at this point in time.
Yeah.
He needs to be healthy. If he's not playing football, the Packers stand no chance.
On the clock.
the 13th pick is the Miami Dolphins. I personally think they're going to take defensive end Brian Burns out of Florida State.
I'm all right with that.
The Dolphins love taking guy from Florida. They're from Florida.
Oh, thanks, Kyle.
You got a freaking cartographer.
They don't really know what the fuck they want to do, so I think they just take.
Anything they pick is a good pick.
Yeah. Then we got Atlanta. Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Oh, now.
Give me a second here, guys.
Well, you got 23 of them.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of. We're not crossing these people
All
off
right,
the board.
fuck it. Pick is in. They're gonna Falcons take defensive end Rashawn Gary out of the University of
Oh.
Michigan. They need help on the end. You know, in all my other drafts, I haven't taken Montez Sweat, but
Next pick is on the clock.
wow, what a douche.
Washington, Drew Lock. Carolina, fuck.
This is giving me no idea. We're trying.
Washington needs a quarterback. Alex Smith is not going to
Hey,
be.
they just signed a guy from the AAF like 10 minutes
They
ago.
also have Case Keenum.
Yeah.
You're right. Case Keenum's leading him to
And
the promised
Josh
land.
Johnson.
Also, your next pick is on the clock.
All right. Well, who do I have? Carolina.
13 seconds left.
DK Metcalf.
All right,
Carolina needs a big body on the outside. That's a perfect target for Cam Newton.
They tried that like 5 years ago and didn't work.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, the New York Giants are on the clock. The New York Giants select quarterback Will Greer. Will Greer is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft.
I haven't heard his name. That's what I'm saying.
Go look up any NFL analysis. Will
from
Greer is going to
WVU, baby.
be the best quarterback out of this draft. He's
So-
absolutely lights out. And you guys need a quarterback that you don't have to reach on.
I'm just curious. Is Kyler Murray still available?
No. Yes.
Shit. Next pick is on the clock.
The Minnesota
My
Vikings
goodness.
select Greedy Williams, defensive back. They need all kinds of help on the secondary. In my opinion, they get exposed. It's not what it used to be. And I think they need offensive line help, but I think that they'd be reaching at this point for an offensive line.
You should not have said anything and waited until all 32 picks went in.
Oh, I heard the other quarterbacks going. Next pick is on the clock.
Who am I?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. They picked tight end Noah Fant, and he was at Iowa. They need more playmakers, and all the tight ends are old and trash. Besides Delaney Walker, but he's old.
Oh, gee, I wonder who's going next at Pittsburgh's pick.
Yeah, Pittsburgh picking Devin Bush for obvious reasons.
It's a linebacker in the first round.
Well, they need Shazier's replacement.
Maybe.
Has TJ Hawkinson been drafted?
Yes.
Yeah,
Next
I
pick
did
is
sure.
on the clock.
All right.
Seattle Seahawks.
Jonathan Abrams, safety. They need a replacement for Earl Thomas.
Next pick.
Baltimore, wide receiver, AJ Brown. Got to get some weapons for that team because they will suck otherwise. And in general.
Next pick is on the clock.
You're not helping me, Phil.
What'd you say?
All right. Houston Texans select Andre Dillon. I don't know the offensive line. Houston Texans select Andre Dillon. See, I know what the team needs because that's what they fucking need. Otherwise, they're not going to have a prized possession at quarterback. Oakland Raiders are on the clock. The Oakland Raiders select Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
John
consider
Gruden got him in a steal at that point, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a steal. Kyler Murray's not even close to the best quarterback in this
No,
draft.
I know, but
He went
the
fourth.
prospect
He was
thing-
the fourth quarterback drafted. It's fine.
Actually, I've heard 4 mock drafts over the past 2 days that have him not even going in the first round.
But think of all the
That's
quarterbacks
wrong.
or position players that have been picked on hype alone.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I can think of a lot of them.
Next pick is on the clock.
DK
Yeah.
Metcalf.
So we got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to take defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. The reason for that is because
I picked last time.
if he didn't tear his ACL, he would be one of the higher picks in the draft.
Top 5 picks.
Yeah, and the Eagles had the personnel to wait for him to come back.
Your next pick is on the clock.
Yeah, Indianapolis selects
Running back Le'Veon Bell.
no.
who entered back into the draft by popular demand. Ooh, dead air.
No.
Gross.
No, I can't remember. But the Indianapolis Colts select cornerback Byron Murphy.
There you go.
He's the best corner in the draft.
I don't know if he caught it.
That
But
is
he wanted
not
to do
true.
like an Irish accent real
Yeah,
bad.
what
but
is
he
he
held
doing?
out. Byron.
You're rushing me.
Why are you rushing me?
A couple shillelaghs, as he was saying.
You're on the clock.
Running back for Alabama.
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
For what team?
For Oakland. Oakland's up next.
Brandon Jacobs, he selected.
What a fucking draft it just had. Jesus.
Seriously,
Raiders,
that would go
take it
down as
all.
one of the best drafts in recent memory.
Next pick.
LA
Chargers.
Chargers. Oh, fucking hell. I don't even know at this point. Who's been selected?
Nope.
Why? You have the list.
I'm not looking at it. Run out of time. It's going to go to me.
What do you
Pick
say?
your
Just
boy,
keep
bro.
talking about that list over there.
Come on, Mass. You know players. Just
Mm,
reach if you don't know somebody.
Rocky Sin. Fuck it.
Ooh.
What a good name.
Yeah, I wrote Rocky Sin because I don't know how to spell his actual name.
It's Rock Yasin.
YA Sin.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, all right, perfect.
Next pick is
I'm
on the
buying a
clock.
jersey wherever he
The
goes.
Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock, and they are going to select. I can't read that. Delta Lawrence,
Dexter.
Dexter Lawrence.
I didn't mean to ring the bell there.
I actually traded my my next pick to Kyle. He's going to pick for the Packers because I want to pick for New England.
Yeah, so we
Can I
got
pick the
Green Bay
Rams?
here. Just because this guy fell, we're gonna take Greedy Williams. Why
Greedy
not?
Williams has already been selected.
No, he hasn't.
Has he not?
Yeah, Greedy Williams was picked by Minnesota
Yeah, that's why.
When
I
did
didn't
this
get it.
happen?
when I picked for
Then
Minnesota.
All right, fine.
All right, so by draft rules, you lose that pick.
No, that's not true because we're picking DeAndre Baker.
I don't think that's ever
instead.
happened in the NFL draft where
That's-
someone's
that-
picked a player that's been picked.
The funniest thing ever.
All right, then we're gonna pick DeAndre Baker. He's been one of the guys that everybody fell in love with. He had a bad combine, but best ball skills in all of them.
Rams?
Next pick.
No,
this is
not
me.
you.
Oh fuck.
The
done,
Rams
Mass.
here. I'm gonna agree with this pick. We're gonna take center Garrett
There
Bradbury
you
because we're old on that
Senator
line.
Boo Radley.
Shut up over there.
That was a novel joke. For
Shut
you,
up, Kendall.
For you.
I'm talking.
Smart
All right, I'm the New England
souls.
Patriots.
Hey, I'm not done.
Next pick is on the clock.
Which pick's on the clock?
Oh,
Hurry up. Make quick. I'll give you some of my time.
You're old.
Take
All right.
that souls.
Hurry up.
we're old. I'm just saying we're
All
old.
right, New England Patriots are on the clock. Since all the quarterbacks that we wanted are gone, we're going to go ahead and take tight end Irv Smith. We need somebody to replace Rob Gronkowski.
That's the first round of the NFL draft, everybody. Hope
All
you
right,
tune in on
round two
Thursday.
starting now. All right, go.
Fuck.
All right, first pick. Arizona Cardinals select Elton Jenkins, center out of some college.
Texas
Second pick,
A&M.
San Francisco trades their pick for all the rest of the picks. There you go. That was the rapid fire.
Boy, we forgot about Kyler Murray.
I didn't.
Like, if I was,
I absolutely
if
forgot
I could
about Kyle
redo
Murray.
this, the Dolphins would be taking that guy.
That's what, I'm listening to these picks and I was like, was
All right.
Kyler taken?
You got 5 minutes. Do it again.
All right, let's go. Round one. Arizona Cardinals select.
So
Kyler Murray, it's over.
Abreu hit 5 RBIs tonight.
Did you really?
Yeah,
They played the Orioles.
Oh, all right.
Can we go back and let me pick Kyler Murray at 13?
No, can we
Here's the
start
thing,
over?
though. Here's the thing. Realistically, though, I have seen a lot of mock drafts that have Kyler Murray, if he's not taken number one, falling a good distance. Because Kyler Murray is only being considered as the number one pick because of Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals.
I disagree. And I will take 3 shots if he falls out of the top 5.
Write it down.
I don't
Write it
think he
down.
gets past 4, to be honest. I won't bet shots on it because I'm probably wrong, but I
No,
don't think he
I
gets
would.
past 4.
No, if he's not drafted number one overall, I don't think Oakland takes him at 4.
I don't think he. I
they
think somebody
can't-
else will trade up for him though.
They can't afford to take him at 4. They need too much on defense. San Francisco doesn't need him.
This is a defense-heavy draft, though. They can afford to do that.
No, they can't. They cannot. You're going to tell me that Kyler Murray is worth more than Quinnen Williams, Josh Allen, or Nick Bosa?
I'm more happy that Devin Bush fell to me.
I don't think that any of those players will be available at number 4 if Kyler Murray is sitting there.
But I'm just saying. Okay, so fine. Even Devin White, Montez Sweat, Ed Oliver. You think Kyler Murray's worth more than those players?
Not Devin White.
It's Devin White.
Yeah, not Devin Bush, you dick.
He said Devin White.
I know what
I'm
I
calling
said.
you a dick.
Oh, all right.
You said Devin Bush like 15 times tonight.
I'm just saying,
Motherfucker.
Kyler Murray's not even the best quarterback in this draft.
I
It's
should've
hyped up
kept
because
him.
of the Arizona Cardinals Kingsbury thing. The Raiders cannot afford to take him at 4. The only option, if the Cardinals keep their pick at number 1 and do not draft Kyler Murray, the only option for him to go top 5 is if the Jets give their pick up to Miami or Cincinnati.
Which will happen.
Not my,
Miami doesn't. I
Cincinnati.
don't think Miami has the capital to do it. Miami needs to jump up 8 spots. That's a lot of draft capital
But-
for a team that needs a lot of things.
But the big thing is, Josh Jacobs is probably going for it. That's what the Raiders do.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of mock drafts where Kyler Murray falls out of the top 20.
I'll take 3 shots if he falls outside of the top 5.
It was 5 earlier.
Well, hold on.
Like
It's
a
got to
minute
be.
ago.
It's got to be 3 shots. I'll bet with Massey. I'll do 3. We'll bet the 3 shots if Kyler Murray falls out of the top 5 if he doesn't go number 1 overall.
Fair.
Because that's like obviously the big assumption at this point in time is that he's going to go number 1.
So if he's not number 1,
if he's not number 1, if Arizona doesn't draft him, or if a team doesn't trade to number 1 to draft him, if Arizona holds their pick and drafts a defensive player,
Mhm.
I say that Kyler Murray falls out of the top 5.
All right, it's documented. Somebody going to write it down.
It'll be on the fucking podcast.
but no one ever checks it.
That's true.
I mean, as of us.
Rita.
I think
Record
we went through that pretty quick because right now I'm looking at like my little itinerary here. We have a Mock's poll, and then we're kind of like done. So let's banter after Mock's getting personal junk poll.
Well, I mean, here's the question I'm going to pose to you guys. I know one guy's really hyped about this MLB player coming
Bryce
up.
Harper was just ejected in the 4th inning.
Yeah, went after a umpire.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Popped up on your
he
phone.
like went to attack an umpire.
That's awesome.
Phil Stern needs to be held back from umpire after getting tossed.
I wonder what the fuck happened. 'Cause he
We
wasn't
have
playing.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. making his debut soon.
Mhm. I do think that he wears an extra large in women's panties.
So, I mean, just us sitting at the table here. I mean, and people on Facebook chime in, but do we think he has a major impact this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It can't be any worse than what the Blue Jays are doing.
That's true, Lou.
Well, that's not true. You could be the Orioles.
Orioles not even playing that bad.
They got people at the White Sox 12-3.
But I mean, I guess I'm saying
Which,
more
losing to the White
individually.
Sox, losing to the White Sox isn't bad. Sorry, not to interrupt you, Mark. Losing to the White Sox isn't bad, but only scoring 2 runs against that pitching staff is bad.
Well,
Fair.
who pitched?
It doesn't matter. Eventually, Rodon has to come out.
I think he makes immediate impact because, bless you, because
Jay Fry.
for a lot of people, considered him, he was held back longer than perhaps he should have.
Well, it's for that
and-
extra year.
Well,
control.
but there's people like, he's hitting this well, he's killing it. Why isn't he up now? And it's like, well, we want to really shore up, those kind of, intangible skills. And I think that's definitely been refined. So I think he's been ready to go for a lot longer than, he's been prepped for. So I think, moving forward, it's going to be just like dynamite. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't live up to the hype.
Well, I don't think that. I think more the reason is because it gives them a presence in that lineup where you can't pitch to him. Because right now in that Blue Jays lineup, who are you afraid to pitch to?
But you think he gets that respect right out of the gate?
Yeah, because who do the Blue Jays have? Who are you afraid of in that lineup?
But I understand the point you're making. But what I'm saying is his debut game, he
They're
has
gonna
that
pitch to him a
respect.
lot different. They're going to throw him breaking balls and all that stuff. He's going to walk a lot. I'm just saying. I think he's one of those guys that just going to be there and bring that presence that Trout has or Harper has and guys like that.
My thing is that even if they don't, I don't know that they're going to really like attack him in the strike zone because that yes, even though it hasn't been in the major league level, he has that pop and he has that hereditary gene for baseball, and nobody wants to be remembered as potentially the first home run given up to what might be the best baseball player for the next 15 years. I mean, Trout, yes, is established, but I mean, a lot of people are really high on Vlad Guerrero Jr. Nobody wants to be that guy. And I'm not saying that they're going to attack the strike zone or pitch away from him, but I think they're going to dance around the edges. And I think that he's shown even in his minor league play that he has very good plate discipline and he's not going to swing at garbage. So I think that he could even if
His
it's just,
dad did.
yeah.
His dad swung at a lot of garbage.
Yeah, and you want to know what? A lot of those went
Yoked
over the
him.
fucking outfield wall.
Hey, it paid off for him.
Even if he gets on base from walks, it's an impact for the team.
The other side of it is like
They're hurting without Kevin Pillar is really what this is about.
the other side of it is, I mean, every highlight I see of this is just him hitting. I mean, what is he defensively? I don't know.
I think he's an average third baseman defensively. He's a third baseman, right?
Yep.
He's an average third baseman. I don't think he's going to be, maybe down the line could have some Gold Glove potential. Might not reach it, but have Gold Glove potential. But I don't think he's going to be like an Arenado, or like even like what like people are thinking Moncada might be.
The thing is that his offensive presence is so important that's what people are focusing on.
Yeah.
You're not going to see the plays that they're putting with third because they're so focused on
Plus
hitting the home run over the building
plus he also has the benefit of if he's not that good defensively,
He could DH.
there's a nice little unfielding hitting spot.
That's
that he
what I
can play
mean.
in.
Like, is he someone that we think is just going to end up being a
Career DH.
DH?
No.
No.
Well, especially while he's young, because
I
you
think
know what, it's a type of thing.
I think they'll be willing to take the woes at third base if there are first couple seasons struggles, because
right? Yeah,
you're gonna need him to be able to be at least an okay caliber third baseman for when you have interleague play,
right.
or if for injuries and you can't afford to put him in the DH spot. I think he'll be fine.
Because you're going to know, and I'm just going to call it a blanket statement. Like in 3 to 5 years, if he's not cutting it as a position player, then like, well hey, he's still an incredible bat. Let's just, he's a DH guy. And, that's not a problem. That's how the league works.
I agree.
So, Souls, you're yawning. How about I have a shot?
Better than last week.
Better than that. Well,
That's last 5 weeks. You gonna throw up tonight?
Not at all. Gonna go to bed though when I get home.
All right. No, you're not. You're gonna watch this Phillies game. It won't be over. It's gonna go to extras.
I hope so.
I hope so. They're down 3-1.
actually, I didn't even know the score. How about
I
that?
just told you what it was.
It was 3-1. I thought it was just, he was just.
You're lucky you got
That
us
was the
hurt,
count.
bro. You got us hurt.
Lamash showed me a tweet saying that the Raiders are potentially looking at drafting Haskins 4th overall.
Gross.
I'm pretty terrified that the Giants are going to trade up for Kyler Murray. I don't want that.
Giants aren't gonna move anywhere.
The Giants are going to draft a defensive player at 6.
I think they go
They should.
defense at 6, quarterback at 17. I think if you guys, regardless of what happens the rest of the draft for every other team, I honestly believe if you guys get Ed Oliver at 6, which is very possible.
Yep.
And Will Grier at 17. I think 5 years from now, you guys will be looked at as having one of the best drafts in NFL history. Will Grier. So if you listen to like NFL Sirius Radio, I don't know if you have Sirius, but if they have like the morning show with people like Charlie Weiss is on there, longtime Patriots guy, Tommy Brady, guy who brought Tommy Brady into the Patriots organization, not single-handedly, but helped that whole era of the great guy. Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller, the two guys that do the great NFL analysis.
I love Jim and Pat.
They don't miss anything. All these guys talking about Will Grier being an absolute slept-on guy that could very easily be the best quarterback in this draft. It's just there's no team that's set on Will Grier. Like the Cardinals are being reported to be set on Kyler Murray. Like the Broncos are being set on Drew Lock. Like there's those reports of those teams being set on those guys. Whereas Will Grier's going to be like, who's going to be the team that wants to take that chance in the first round? He could fall in the second round. You might be able to get him. Anybody drafting him in the first round could be considered a reach. But I think that guy is going to be a stud, and I think that him going to the Giants is the best case scenario because he's guaranteed a year of learning.
Yeah.
He's not going to be thrown to the wolves immediately.
I mean, for me, I think if the Giants draft because I'm still not convinced they draft a quarterback in the first round this year. I think it's that Daniel Jones kid, but I'm still convinced the Cardinals take Kyler Murray and the Giants trade for Josh Rosen, and don't care for that either.
Why?
I don't like Rosen.
Why?
Because I don't think he's that good. I want to see some type of a mobile quarterback.
He has the ability to be a mobile quarterback. Go look at his draft analysis from last year.
But he's stiff. I don't know. I personally don't think
he got thrown into a shitty system too early.
Absolutely.
And it's not even that he was thrown into a shitty system. It's just that he was thrown into the field of play before that he should have been thrown into play. I personally don't think any quarterback should be drafted and start week 1.
No, absolutely.
I don't think any quarterback should be drafted and start season 1 at all. I think every quarterback should be drafted and sit under, even if it's somebody shitty. Even if you draft somebody and have them sit under A.J. McCarron. Have them sit, learn your system, learn and see what works on the offensive line from a visual stand back standpoint, not from oh shit, here they are. Like, oh, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because that's when bad decision making and that's when bad habits form. Josh Rosen has the best natural arm talent out of last year's quarterback draft. Josh Rosen can throw the ball deeper than anybody else in that draft, except for maybe Josh Allen. Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I
I will say though the big thing with Rosen that impressed me, especially over these last just couple weeks, is with all this speculation around Murray and that I'm sure reporters asking him, what does he think about the team ready to like move on from him? That the guy showed up for all the OTA like he was.
He just opened up recently saying that he doesn't like. He's not a fan of the chatter and he wants to stay put.
I still think that this is part of the Cardinals' smokescreen. They came to him day one and said, "We're building this up to trade this first pick. You are the guy. That's it. Keep your mouth shut. We're fine."
I mean, the other side of it is too, and I forget whatever radio show I was listening to, but they were making a note that like there's the new coach, and there's a lot of the front office guys that are kind of on the hot seat, so they may go all in to give Cliff full control of bring in who you want, who you think you'll be successful with, to kind of save their jobs, type deal. I mean, it's just another viewpoint, I guess, but I don't know.
But who's to say that it won't be an end for them either? For Kingsbury and Murray.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
They gave up on, if they do draft Murray, they gave up on their head coach and their quarterback after a year.
Yeah.
What if they go 2-14?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
What a bizarre happening for 1 year like that.
The problem is that they didn't get who they wanted for a head coach, so they picked somebody. And then this record matched what they kind of thought they got, and that was kind of what happened. And it was bullshit. If you the person you want, if Kingsbury was the person they wanted all along, you ride it out with whoever you had until Kingsbury becomes available.
Yeah.
You don't bring in a fucking placeholder for a year.
Yeah.
Because all that did was fuck with every young person on that roster. Anybody 24 and under was completely just like, what the fuck now?
Poor management. And, it's just one of those things. You learn from it, hopefully.
Does anyone know what was Steve Wilkes' contract with the Cardinals when they hired him?
It was nothing insane. I mean, it's the type of thing like, you're like, when the firing was like, so why did that even occur? But it wasn't like it was like an 8-year deal. It was just, it was very kind of very simplistic.
Yeah.
If it was 3, then, that's what it was.
The thing
3
is, I
for
don't
whatever.
think the Cardinals ever wanted Steve Wilkes.
It didn't. No.
But
I think
Paul
Paul
was just saying it was a settling.
They wanted Kingsbury.
But that's what I mean. I mean, if they
And it
signed him
wasn't
for say,
available.
5 years, like that would be
I
kind
think it was
of.
2 years.
Was it really?
It was just, they settled. They settled. Riddler just said it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, here's a placeholder
They,
until we
they
get our
got
guy.
anxious and fired the head coach before they had what they thought was the replacement ready to go.
Who was it that
And,
got fired?
With the GM at the time got into some trouble.
No, the head coach. Who was the head coach of the Cardinals 2 years ago?
Bruce Arians.
Whoa.
But there was someone between Arians and Wilkes, wasn't there?
I don't think so.
No, they might not.
I think
Nah.
Bruce Arians just retired.
Bruce Arians wasn't out of football for only 1 year. I
So.
think Bruce was out longer than that.
No, I think he only was because remember, I brought up the point. Like, could you imagine being a Cardinals fan and like, hey, I'm done with football, and he jumps right back into it. It's like, yeah, I want to enjoy my
Steve
family.
Wilkes had a 4-year deal with the Cardinals.
Really, that's a lot more than I
That's
anticipated.
what I mean. So I don't know. I mean, to me,
Well, I think it was one of those things. Give him the contract and just hope it. Who knows? Maybe this works out.
With a team option for a 5th.
What was his NFL experience prior?
He's with the Panthers.
But with
Defensive coordinator.
for how long?
I think.
He was with the Carolina Panthers from 2012 to 14 as a D-backs
It was
coach,
Bruce.
assistant coach from 15 to 16, assistant coach and defensive coordinator
All right.
17, and there you go.
So no greenhorn as
The
they
head coach
say.
from 2004 to 2006 was where it was at. Rest in peace. They are who we thought they were. Dennis Green,
Gotta love them.
R.I.P.
Hamilton.
Gotta love. Was it Chuck Pagano who the Rams beat 2 years ago, 46-6? He came back out and he's like, "Yeah, the 49ers kicked our ass real bad."
Can't talk shit about him. He's my defensive coordinator now.
Oh my God, you guys have Chuck Pagano as your defensive coordinator?
Where the fuck have you been?
Not paying attention to that.
No, he's a good coordinator. Just can't coach.
See what happens. Beer reviews? Anybody?
Yes.
go ahead, Red Baron.
Me first. I like it. Actually, I saved the box of this one. I'm actually sitting on it currently. Ah, yeah. No one thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny either. One thing I really liked in the box: double dry hopped extreme atomic, 11.1%. It's the first triple IPA I've ever had from 6 Point. It's
That's
the
not true.
DDH. Have I had a previous triple
Yep.
IPA? Could you tell me what it is?
Yep, the Imperialist from Goose Island.
On the show, have I had it?
Oh, you didn't say on the show. You just said the first triple IPA I've ever had.
I don't know. Maybe I tasted that one before. But anyway,
You drank 3 of them.
DDH, high
and
res.
pissed yourself.
6 from 6 Point. New York, Tennessee, 11.1%. About $15. We'll call it a pop for a 4-pack. Golden straw in color. Aromas of citrus, earthy, floral notes. Flavor citrusy, floral. Very easy drinking. High percentage, obviously, which I'm really into. Not filling at all. After having 3, I'm working on my 4th actually right now. I'm feeling pretty darn good. 4 stars. Would I get it again? Absolutely. 6 Point. Excellent work.
Mock.
How did he make that noise?
What?
Book, close the book.
Oh,
What?
I thought he like shut a cork off. I was like, what? How did he do that?
Mazel tov.
It's Passover.
The Gambrinus, excellent. It's a fantastic drinking beer. They're super cheap over in the Czech Republic. I think this can was like $1.80. This is one of my more go-to beers when I'm out there. So I gave it 4 stars. You guys would like it, but I don't have any more.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
But I do. I enjoy this beer a lot. It's a good one.
I had a super duper little Citra tonight.
Tell Kyle how much you hate it.
I'm not going to review it because of how many times Kyle's had it on the show.
No, review it.
All right. Well,
Your
Hooker
opinion
Brewing
matters.
here in Connecticut. Straw color, citrusy taste. Shocking, I know.
What do you mean?
Is Pilsner Urquell just brewed by Pilsner Urquell?
Yes.
Okay.
Bro, you're sitting next to me, bro.
It's better to go down because obviously it's a double IPA. It doesn't have a very bad aftertaste that I'm used to with the double IPAs though. Strong alcohol content being that it's a double IPA. 3 stars. Sure, I'd get it again.
I'm sorry. What kind of beer was it?
I said 3 stars.
No. What was the type of beer?
It wasn't a double IPA.
It was.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear you say it again.
Okay, double IPA.
Said it
Double
like
IPA?
eight times.
Yeah, so I had a Bengali. That's how you say it.
Bengali.
A-O-I, except after Y, is the saying.
Before me again.
Please private stock for that.
Whatever. Do it. I don't care.
Kyle, how was your beer?
It started off rocky, then as I started drinking it, it got better. I probably wouldn't get it again.
No?
No.
Okay.
I gave it a 1.
Oh, wow.
Well,
It wasn't good,
hey,
man.
listen, it's his preference.
It was
And,
straight.
I
It
was
wasn't great.
surprised.
I've had better. Like this fucking beautiful thing.
I've had better.
As he drinks a private stock.
Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Have you had better?
Than that beer?
Yeah.
Of course I have.
Then-
But I just have a wider spectrum of things
You
I've
also
had.
suck at.
At what?
No.
At what, Kyle? Tell me.
Not gonna say.
No, say it.
And
At fantasy sports, is that what you're looking for? A
You lost to somebody who didn't even know
No,
he was
fantasy
playing.
football you suck at.
Oh, wow. The guy who won? Wow. Can you believe it? The guy who beat Kyle twice that
The guy
year?
who lost to Zach Stacy.
Yeah, the guy that also lost every year besides that, and I won twice since that. Maka's yet to win. Sorry.
Yeah,
So what he did is he used your loss as a linchpin for his victory. That sounds like a bad winner right there.
No.
You never claimed to be a good winner.
Ooh,
Maka can't beat me. He knows.
Kyle cheats every season.
and refuses to admit as luck is a factor.
It's not.
He's
not.
admitted
It
to
is.
me.
It is.
He said
is
it to me before.
No, it's not.
It
Kyle,
is.
it absolutely is.
The guy picked Eddie Lacy with the first pick.
Kyle,
Any person
Kyle,
with a brain would have known
Kyle,
he wasn't going to be that good.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious, Kyle? You, a person who pays attention to every fucking thing that matters about
Yeah.
anything fantasy, who preaches to every person who ever picks up a cell phone to play a fantasy game, says to not research. Eddie Lacy was the number 1 running back to go that year.
And that was a
That year.
mistake, and we all told you that.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You dummy.
I tried to
You-
trade Freddie Lacy.
You idiot
I would
soul.
have never drafted him number 1. I'm sorry.
You idiot soul.
Jeff wouldn't have. Pat wouldn't have. Even
Kyle,
Pat wouldn't
Kyle,
have.
You know what's funny?
Pat
Hindsight.
might have only
Pat
been
would've.
auto draft.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
Hindsight
Vito
is 2020.
definitely
And Kyle, I'll
would
tell
have.
you what, you would never worn glasses ever playing fantasy football. Thank you so much.
What
All
the
right.
fuck did he just say?
You muted me
I admit it didn't matter.
He didn't talk.
because you're wrong.
Riddler, how was your beer?
I'm not wrong. God, it's in hindsight.
We'll see what happens next year. There's a reason why.
It's in hindsight.
Hold
Kyle.
on.
If you take Eddie Lacy this year,
I will. I'll take him first overall. If he makes
To
it to a
Kyle's
squad,
defense, though,
He's with the Ravens.
he drafts Chris Gregg every year.
that's the last pick. He's
But
one of
then
my
you
favorite
give up
players.
your IR spot for it.
Well,
When somebody
tell you
does
what,
get
I only
injured-
ran into that situation once, and it was
and you
this
pick
year.
from the same division every year.
You always pick the Chargers.
I like those players, and you know, it
Yeah,
works
you're
out.
right. You might like those players, but they're not the best fantasy players.
Kyle. You're taking one player from one fantasy situation, and
We
you
literally
use
just
it-
said you picked the entire Chargers and you agreed.
Yeah, I mean,
Kyle, you're missing
You
the-
traded for Mike Williams.
I didn't trade Mike Williams. I picked him up. He's never been. No one ever drafts him. That's why I picked him
I
up.
drafted him and I cut him
And I picked him up. I didn't trade for him.
But then you wrote him out for the
because
whole
he
year.
wasn't producing.
Kyle, the Eddie Lacy argument is garbage, and I'll tell you
It's
why.
not.
Kyle, it is. It is. Kyle, because you, a person who preaches to death for research and for, if you don't read this and that and not use any logic whatsoever, he's not going to be. Kyle,
So if you did your research and you did your logic,
and what's that, Kyle?
you would have never picked Eddie Lacy
Kyle,
with the
that's
first pick.
untrue. That's untrue.
Yeah.
Because you, Kyle, because you
Can I ask you a
follow.
question?
Yes, sir.
If Yahoo Fantasy Sports ranked him as the number 2 overall player that year, would you have picked him number 1?
Perhaps. I think I would.
I wouldn't have.
Kyle, you say in hindsight.
No, I would have picked him at number
Kyle,
fucking
you
7.
Say, Kyle, you say in hindsight. Because you know why? We're what, 5 years removed from the league now? You say in hindsight.
Can they
And
hear
Kyle-
him right now?
Yeah,
What?
they can hear me.
Did you unmute him?
Oh yeah, he's been unmuted this whole time.
No, but in the same breath, who did you take first overall last year?
David Johnson. And I made a mistake and I traded.
Well, no, but that was different, though. David Johnson didn't play well because of a bad offensive line and because
But the
because
point
of
I'm
mild
making-
injury. Eddie Lacy didn't play well because he was terrible.
He
But
was
he
fat.
came off a great season.
Last year, no, he didn't.
No, the
Eddie
year
Lacy- yeah,
the
yeah,
year before
you're
came
right.
after.
No,
But I
came off
I
of an
found
above
out
average season.
it was
It wasn't a
mistake,
great season.
And then I traded him.
Eddie Lacy was the number 1 overall rated running back because he was on the Packers, not because he came off of a great season.
That's why. Well, then why did every fantasy squad, the people who
And
are
that's
in
why
charge?
everybody that took Eddie Lacy with that pick finished in last place.
Well, that's an incorrect statement because that's an entirely it's an arbitrary statement.
It's
that you're
just like
making.
how people
Because
picked
how
Le'Veon
could
this
you,
year.
so you pick Eddie Lacy, and then you also pick, for example, if Aaron Rodgers had a good year, if you also picked, if Wes Welker at the time, if he had a big year, and it's an arbitrary statement, Kyle. It's arbitrary. It's in
Are you
hindsight.
saying because you took Eddie Lacy, you took Wes Welker?
I never picked Wes Welker.
Are you
I'm
sure?
God, why would I? The point I'm making is
He was a Bronco.
I think the luck that comes from fantasy football is just based off injury, but not
I-
based off drafting.
I would agree with that 100%. It's purely off injury, nothing else.
I don't think it's based off drafting. Not if you
it sure, of course, it's
Every
of course
year,
And
everybody
David
has a
Johnson
better.
was a perfect example.
Everybody.
But David Johnson was banged up and played behind the worst offensive line in football. That wasn't supposed to be that bad.
And
It's-
you could
it's
tell
an
ahead of
entirely-
his-
it's
his
entirely
season. I don't think
arbitrary.
I would have ever taken.
and
David
I can
Johnson.
tell you this.
And I took
that-
David Johnson from you, and he produced for me.
entirely arbitrary.
David Johnson produced for me. I had a
Uh,
couple 30-point games with him.
I can tell you this: that everybody that I picked and traded for,
There was logic behind.
yeah, I took David Johnson because of we played a PPR league. He wasn't doing good, so I made a trade to pick up Saquon Barkley.
That's not what the trade was.
Yeah,
It
it was.
I thought you traded David Johnson to Kendall.
No, David Johnson went to me.
Who did you
Oh,
trade?
no, David
Kendall?
Johnson did go to Kendall, and then I took David
Yeah,
Johnson.
you traded David Johnson.
I got
for
Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Well, don't act like you. That was just a bad trade.
Coming
I
from
wanna
the
hear from
guy,
you.
yeah.
I wanna
Coming
hear
from the
you.
guy who date raped his
Here's the
brother.
thing.
I'm sorry. What
Fuck
was
Kyle
what
if he
was that
says
trade?
anything because he approved both trades before I sent them.
Well,
Didn't
hold
really
on.
approve it.
Well,
No, he
hold
didn't
on.
approve
Bullshit.
it. They just didn't get vetoed.
What
No,
was this trade?
Before they were
Was it
sent,
Gurley
I talked to
for-
him.
What was it, Gurley for what?
Sony Michelle and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
He approved it.
The league approved it.
Kyle, I talked to you before the trade
I
was
said
sent.
it was okay. I didn't say it was great.
I did say it was great. I said it was okay.
Yeah, and guess what? It bit you in the ass.
No, I just didn't win. Amari Cooper bit me in the ass. He wasn't on my team. Fuck that guy.
That I remember.
We'll see what happens this year.
I'm not playing.
Paul, you say that every
you gotta
year.
play.
You guys made me play last year. I did not want to play. You
Because
made
it's
me
fun
play.
to play with friends.
I'll take your spot.
You guys aren't my friends. You're my coworkers.
Oh, that's not
Guys,
nice.
You have to actually pay attention to it this time.
I'm not paying attention to baseball.
No. The year that we had you in it, you didn't pay attention.
I didn't know football back.
You also drafted all Rams when they were terrible.
Yes, I did.
Actually, that was the year Kendall won.
Yeah. Guess what Ram you didn't get?
No.
Zach fucking
No,
Stacy.
I
that
did
that
end up
year.
getting
You
Zach
did it
Stacy.
2 years ago.
No, you didn't.
And
Because I
you
kept
didn't-
it.
It was not
forgot
2
about
years
it.
ago.
Oh,
No, that was no.
No.
It was not
No,
2
the
years
year
ago.
he did it wasn't the year that. No, that was the year Chris won. That
I
wasn't the year he did
swear
it was the year
to
Christian
God,
Kowski
he
won.
did it 2 years ago.
It was
No.
not 2 years ago because we were in
it
sophomores.
was the
or
year
in
Kendall won
college.
because we did the draft at Kyle's house. That was the night I met you.
No, Christian Kowski won that year.
It was the year after.
No,
Did
Social media
Pat
plus.
ever win one, or did he lose?
Pat lost.
I don't know.
Pat always starts out about 8-0, and then
No, I think Pat did win one.
Pat had some good years.
No.
he lost to me.
Pat
in the-
lost to you.
Yeah.
Pat lost to you. Then Mock lost to you. Then Pat lost to you. Then I lost to Jeff.
Beer review.
I'm the Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
of fantasy football. I've been
How
to
was your
3.
beer, Paul?
Which one?
Both.
You can pick
I had
one.
3.
Both.
I want to hear the Pilsner one.
All right, so I had the No Brainer, which is an IPA from Victory from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, 6.8%. Straw color, bread and grainy in aroma, and bread and citrusy in flavor. It was bland, but very serviceable. Could drink about 50 of them. 3.5 stars, so maybe I'd get it again. After that was the Pilsner Urquell from Machine Washable. It cost $3, and in Europe, they don't put the ABV on the can.
It's on there somewhere because, like, it's usually, but maybe that's because it's a special can.
4.9.
I also think they measure it differently over there.
4.9
I don't know how, but
ish.
yeah.
Golden color and straw colored, bread and weedy aromas, bread and grainy flavors. It's pretty much what you expect from a Pilsner in terms of flavor. Heavy on the wheat, very flavorful. It's a filling beer. I gave it 3 stars and said, sure, I'd get it again, but the availability is probably not there. And then we'll skip some pages here. You can get it, the American version, which is better.
No.
Yes,
It's terrible here.
It's not terrible. It's just terrible compared to this one.
It's terrible because it's in the green bottles and it's skunked. It's
And
not
then
good.
I finished off with the Open Mic and Oat-Soaked IPA from Funk Brewing in Chicago, Illinois. 5.5%. Straw-colored. A lot of straw-colored beers today. Citrusy and skunky in aroma and citrusy and floral in notes. Very flavorful, mild citrus, mild skunk, very filling. Give it 3.5. Said, sure, I'd get it again. Where can they listen to us?
Be sure to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk. Twitter is GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's sucking at fantasy football or sucking at fantasy football.
Subscribe on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, we're there.
Or internet radio show.
Yes. Check us out every Monday night here on the PPRN Radio Network from 8 to 11-ish. Be sure to check out the Peter Pino Show tomorrow and Wednesday night from 7:30 to 10:30. Kendall and I will be there tomorrow. Check out all the other good stuff. Download the PPRN app. I think, what was it? There were 60 away from 1,000
They're
or
very
something like
close
that.
to 1,000. So if you
What
know
if I
anyone,
uninstall it and re-download it?
Not sure if that counts.
Okay.
what the shot though?
I'm gonna try to wait for that number to creep up, and then once it gets to like the 995 mark, I'm gonna
Bail-
download. No, I'm gonna
bail
download it on my iPad. That'd be the 1,000th person. Peter has to blow me.
There's a prize coming your way if you're the guy.
That's not true.
No, there is. He's made mention.
I don't
of
know
it.
how he's going to know who's the 1,000th, but there's
No,
a prize.
He can track. He can track it by the. You know, he can be like, "Oh, it's an iPhone. It's an iPhone 4
Yeah.
in New Jersey." He can track it. So
Perfect.
But yeah, download the app. Check us out. We're on there.
I'm gonna hit install with my cock.
All right. So yeah.
yeah.
Well, until next week when we recap the.
Oh, what's
NFL.
up, Evan Gladney?
Ooh,
Ooh,
nice.
tuning in. Thank you, Evan.
Facebook told me it's his birthday.
Nice.
Happy birthday.
We have
Might have
Goodbye.
been yesterday.
We have no song for you. Souls, you got anything?
Happy birthday, Evan.
We'll be back next week. We'll do some NFL draft recap as well as some more breakdown of the NBA and NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
Do your fucking homework, boys. Do it. Do it good.
Never.
You guys are all fired. So until next week when I do Getting Sports Drunk solo, I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mark.
Sheen Washable.
Nah.
I'm Boss Souls.
The Mass Chris Massey.
And I'm the Red Baron.
Yeah.